Welcome, one and all, to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. I'm your host, Mike. Tonight, I have several articles to talk about the passing of famous comic book artist George Perez. I also have an article about Viola Davis possibly signing on for a Suicide Squad spinoff. We Got This Covered says that fans pick The Last Jedi as the best Star Wars movie. Believe that. Who knows? Who knows? And yes, I do have my opinion on We Got This Covered, but the other story we're going to talk about tonight is also Anson Mount and the use of the January 6th footage and the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. But before we get to that, because I do cover the team on this channel, it's part of this channel, I do have a quick update from San Diego. This afternoon in San Diego, between the Cubs and the Padres, the Cubs were able to win the third and final game of this 3-game set to take the series 2-1. Alfonso Rivas came up with the bases loaded in the top of the 8th and hit a tie-breaking 2-run single to give the Cubs a 7-5 lead. The Cubs, however, did have a 5-3 lead at one point until the 7th inning when the Padres were able to get back-to-back home runs. But it's nice to see the Cubs able to squeak one out in San Diego and get another W. So let's go ahead and move on to the pop culture news now that that's over. And before I do that, I do want to welcome, once again, David Jen. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and go on to our first article here. And our first article is actually going to be about Ed O'Neill. Ed O'Neill is actually going to be starting in a new project here very soon. And that new project is, according to Geek Tyrant, he's going to star as disgraced LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling in FX's The Sterling Affairs. And before I move on, I do want to say hello to Resolute Germ. Hope you're doing well this evening. So, this article, it is by Joy Power, and it starts off by saying Ed O'Neill is set to play disgraced LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling in FX's upcoming 6-episode limited series, The Sterling Affairs. He will star alongside Jackie Weaver and Lawrence Fishburne in the show. The series tells the behind the scenes story of Doc Rivers, Fishburne, and the Los Angeles Clippers' quest to bring a championship to one of the historically worst franchises in all of sports during the impending downfall of the team's owner, Donald Sterling. And, you know, one of the history's historically worst franchises? You mean worse than the Cubs? Okay, I can say that. I'm a Cub fan. I put up with a lot of crap being a Cub fan. So let me go ahead and continue here. And the article goes on to say O'Neill, who is notoriously racist behavior, is brought to light. Well, what they mean is Donald Sterling, not Ed O'Neill, is brought to light amid the power struggle between his wife of 60 plus years, Shelley Sterling Weaver, and his mistress, V. Strivino. The Sterling Affairs was written by Gina Welch and is based on the ESPN 30 for 30 podcast for the same name, reported and hosted by Ramona Shelburne. Ed O'Neill is a talented actor, and I've always enjoyed the projects that he's taken on over the years, such as Married with Children and Modern Family. This is definitely a different kind of role for him to take on, and I have no doubt he's going to be great. Well, Ed O'Neill's a great actor. Ed O'Neill's a versatile actor, and if there's anyone that can accomplish doing this kind of role or any kind of role, it's Ed O'Neill. I don't know if anybody ever saw him in the Dragnet reboot that aired several years ago, but he was very good in that. Unfortunately, that show only had a one season run, and there's a few movies that he was in, and one of those movies was Dutch, where he's actually playing the stepdad to this one kid, and he's about to marry this kid's mom. And it's kind of billed as a comedy as well, but Ed O'Neill is very serious in that, and he does very well because, again, he's a very good actor. He's one of my favorites. And Resolute Journal says based on 30 for 30, so it'll be half-assed and full of lies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Resolute Germ. I don't care for ESPN anymore, and I've watched their 30 for 30s, and I've never been impressed. So you also have to take into account that FX is, part of Disney now. So we have that going for us too. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd watch it, but I saw the article, and being that I do like watching projects that Ed O'Neill is in, I thought I would discuss it this evening on Pop Talk. All right, so let me go ahead and stop sharing that tab and move on to our next story here. I will go ahead and post the link for anybody who wishes to join. And I'll be honest, if we go 3 hours till 11 o'clock, that's fine with me, because that will be my ending point tonight if we're still going that far. So let me go ahead and pin that link to the top in case anybody would like to join. And if you don't want to join, you just want to listen to me read the articles and give my opinion and, read your opinion, that's fine too. All right. Not forcing anybody to join me here on Pop Talk. It's completely up to you. So let's go ahead and move on to our next article here. And our next article here comes from Bounding in the Comics, and it says Marvel star Tom Hiddleston says there's further to go in representing comic book characters' sexuality on screen. To be quite frank, I don't really give two craps about a character's sexuality on screen. I just want that character to be a good character, fun character. If the character is supposed to be a fun character, an interesting character, and give me a good story with that character going on, quote unquote, the hero's journey. All right. So this article from Bounty in the Comics was posted on Monday, and it's by Jacob Smith. It says if the Disney Plus series Loki accomplished one thing, it was establishing Tom Hiddleston's version of the titular character as a member of the LGBTQ community. According to Hiddleston, however, Marvel still has a long way to go in representing non straight sexualities with their characters. In the third episode of the Disney Plus exclusive series Loki, the title character came out in a blink and you'll miss it moment where he tells Lady Loki, played by Sophia Di Martino, that he's had a romantic past with both princes and princesses. Well, yeah, because he changes form. Duh. He deceives. He's the trickster. In a recent interview with The Guardian, Henderson told the news outlet that Loki coming out as bisexual was only a small step in the larger goal of representing LGBT identities on screen. Again, I don't care about the character's sexual orientation. What I care about is if the character is any good and the story is any good. Why can't they get that through their heads? I also hope Loki coming out as bisexual was meaningful to people who spotted it, said Henderson. It was a small step and there's further to go, but it was definitely important to all of us. Hiddleston's sentiments echo those of DiMartino herself, who, in an interview with Variety last year, likewise asserted, I remember series director Kate Herron being really passionate about it and that she, being a bisexual woman, wanted to be represented in the show. I think people have been waiting a long time for it. The comic books allude to it in even the Norse mythology, I think, she added. But it's been around for so long, and it was really important to her to have that in the show. But we try not to let that affect the way we were playing it, We're just playing it like it's quite natural conversation between two friends, well, two acquaintances at that point. She further noted, we tried not to give it too much weight, but we knew in the back of our minds how important it was to a lot of people. And I've got to say how happy it makes me that people are happy to see it. And let me go ahead and post a link. All right. There's a link to the article. It says Haran, who is bisexual herself, revealed in a June 2021 that from the moment she joined the series, her foremost goal was with Loki was to establish the character's non-straight sexuality. From the moment I joined Loki, it was very important to me, and my goal to acknowledge Loki as bisexual, said the director. It is in part of who he is and who I am too. I know this is a small step, but I'm happy and heart is full to say that this is now canon in the MCU. And one of the worst pieces of advice that these people have been given is being told to insert yourself into the story. When I was writing my fan fiction, even in English classes, going through school, I was told the worst thing you can do is fully insert yourself into the story. If you're gonna have characters that, no matter who's reading it, no matter who's watching it, you have characters that everybody can love, everybody can get behind. That's one thing you don't get from Hollywood anymore. You don't have these characters that you can support and you look at it on the screen and you're invested in the story that they're a part of. No, you have, let's insert this checkbox, let's insert that checkbox. Hey, we need somebody that fits this checkbox. That's all you have anymore. You go down a list, checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. That's all it is. It's not about story. And I am so sick of it. I am so sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of everybody thinking, well, hey, look, you're in a wheelchair. Mike, you've got cerebral palsy. Let's put you in there. No, I don't want to see myself in there. Who in their right mind wants to see themselves in a movie or TV show or in a book? I don't. I might take aspects of my personality and add it to a character, but I won't fully insert, oh, this character has cerebral palsy. No, I won't do that. And I am so sick of Hollywood doing this shit. That's right, I'm in a mood. All right, so this article goes on to say the director would elaborate on her objectives with the series during a later interview with Collider, expressing hope to the entertainment news outlet that the future MCU projects would both keep Loki's bisexuality as official canon and also further explore the topic. I don't know plans for the future with Loki. I'm so focused on this story, Haran admitted in July 2021. But I would say that part of my thinking was, well, if it's canon and it's acknowledged, then yeah, I hope there's obviously more road to travel with that aspect of his personality. And I hope it has opened the door to more stories, definitely. What the fuck does it have to do with the story? Tell me. Somebody tell me what the fuck somebody's identity has to do with the fucking story. Jeez. And hello, Nerd for Life Form. How you doing, brother? And he goes on to say, I want to see myself in everything. I need the validation. Like, yeah, the problem is, and you know this just as well as I do, brother. That's all they want to see. They want to see the validation. They want to insert themselves into it. No, take yourself out of the story. Create compelling, rich characters. If you're a custodian of an already established franchise, IP, and you want to write about the characters that have already been established in that IP, then it's your job as the custodian to respect what's come before. Don't write some alternate version. And if you do write some alternate version, then by God, say that this is an alternate universe. This doesn't take place in the same freaking universe that it's been a part of for 50 years, 55 years, 40 years, however long this particular franchise has been around. I am so sick of this. And hello, Anonymous. Good to see you, brother. All right. It goes on to say Marvel's Cinematic Universe has recently made a push to increase the number of LGBTQ characters in their superhero lineup. Again, checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. I am sick of this. At least one good thing. The Cubs won today. Okay, so it goes on to say last year, Marvel Studios producer Victoria Alonso, who is lesbian herself, promised more LGBTQ characters in the MCU looking forward. Uh, checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. I could say that all night. Serving as an executive producer, she would eventually help introduce America Chavez as portrayed by Zachi Gomez, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I do apologize. In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In the film, the character is portrayed as a queer young woman, though the only direct evidence to this in the film itself is her wearing a pride flag pin with two moms, the latter of which got the film banned in certain Middle Eastern markets. The mainstream focus on the LGBTQ sexuality of fictional characters isn't just an idea pushed by the likes of Huron and Alonso. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation has been the driving force in pushing Hollywood studios to increase the number of LGBTQ characters on television and in movies. GLAAD CEO Sarah Kate Ellis has called on studios to increase the number of LGBTQ characters featured in their films 50% by 2024. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. I want good characters. I'm going to keep saying that all night. I want good characters. I don't give a single fuck about their sexual orientation. I don't. I just want good characters with good stories. Is that so hard to ask? Yes, it is in this day and age. In the most recent edition of the organization's annual Where Are We on TV report, the organization praised the record 12% of all TV characters on broadcast television, cable, and streaming were depicted as members of the LGBTQ community, including the character of Loki. Last month, GLAAD announced in a press release that they will be unveiling a new rating system based on political donations to left wing candidates and censorship of LGBT scenes in international markets that will grade major studios on their LGBT advocacy. Yeah, well, that paragraph right there tells you it's political. Everything is politically based nowadays. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're left of center, far left, far right. I don't care. It's all based on identity, politics, and political beliefs. Stop it. For crying out loud, stop it. And I do want to say hello to Whoopa Troopa. Oops, sorry, Animus. Happy Whoopa Wednesday. Yes, indeed. Happy Whoopa Wednesday. And he says Pacific is getting angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Nah, you wouldn't. All right, so it goes on to say Hollywood must take meaningful action and will soon convene the biggest brands, agencies, studios, and streamers together with two goals, said Ellis. One, to commit to improving the quantity, quality, and diversity of LGBTQ images, especially in kids and family programming. And two, to speak out against anti LGBTQ legislation in favor of rights like the Equality Act. She continued, and just one day on March 8th, the Florida Senate passed the Don't Say Gay bill, which was signed into law this past week. The South Dakota Senate passed a bill that bans discussion of divisive concepts like race and sex in college courses. Well, that's because everybody in Hollywood wants to divide us. I am sick of that too. Sick of people saying, "Oh, you're an ist, you're a phobe. We're going to create a dividing line." No, it's time we come together, accept people for who they are. You don't like it, you can go. You know what? The Idaho House of Representatives passed a bill that would send librarians to jail if they let minors check out books that include LGBTQ co- topics. She told attendees, and the New Jersey Supreme Court denied an appeal that would bar a religious organization from offering so called conversion therapy. Gosh. This world, I swear. This all happened not in 1 month, not in 1 week, but all in one day, Ellis concluded. I expect every industry executive in this room to join us. Glad we'll give you the playbook, but we won't give you a pass. It's meet our demands or we screech to the high heavens because we don't like what you're doing. You're not checking the check box that's available to you that you are required by our standards to check. Absolutely ridiculous. And hello to Zan Zoltan. How are you doing? And Whoopa Troopa says, I caught off my Pokemon stream today. Am all worn out from increased streaming and work getting crazy, so can just chill out in chats today. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. I'll be honest. There are a lot of times where I'll have a stream on, I'll say hello in the chat, and then I just sit back and I listen and do other things while it's going on. It's not that I don't want to be a part of the conversation. If there's a topic being discussed and I want to chime in, I'll chime in. But a lot of times I'll just sit back and listen. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story. And yes, I do want your guys' opinion on that last story because, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said it in that article, I'm going to say it now and I will continue to say it. I just want good stories and good characters. I don't care about a character's sexuality one way or another. I just want that character to be a character I can go, yes. Or even if it's a villain, go, oh, you son of a gun. That's all I want. And Dan Zoltan says, yeah, I can understand it. That's all I want. And welcome, Anonymous.
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going fine. I don't know if everybody's going to like my rant this evening, but it's how I feel.
That's fine. That's fine. Rant all you like. You know, a lot of people, well, including myself, would love to sit down for 10 minutes and just have a giant curse fest at whatever they're doing and get a little therapeutic. But, some of us can't. So you do all you can. Do what you want.
Well, I like I said, I'm just sick of this Hollywood market checkbox. No, that doesn't help with stories. That doesn't give you good stories. It doesn't give you good characters. It hasn't. We've seen it in these last few years how much of a failure it is, and
Yeah.
I'm just sick of it.
And they've seen it too, but they don't care. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks the high heaven. They can see that their quality of work has gone in the toilet. They don't care about that, and it's so frustrating to the rest of us normie. Well, no, we're not normies, but this people who can't turn off their brain and see this stuff. It's cringy. It's the most it's frustrating because you know, we want good stories. We want they sacrifice the story for the sake of for the message. You know, they can't weave a good story around their ideology and their agenda. So, and they don't know how because they're incapable. They're basically amateur children that couldn't write their way out of a wet paper sack. So, you know, this is what we get.
Yeah, crap.
Yeah,
we get crap.
It's gonna take a long time for other people to wake up, for us not to be giving them our money. You know, I'm not going to see Doctor Strange. I'm not giving them my money. And
I
the
have
more
no interest in
people,
it.
yeah, I don't either. The more people that finally wake up and are, I'm going to call them activated or activists, but they need to be activated to not cater to these companies that do this kind of stuff. So, you know, it's going to take a while. It's going to take longer. We have to keep fighting. We can't just sit back on our butts and, you know, keep doing what we have been doing and letting them have everything. We vote with our pocketbooks, you know, with our wallets. And one of these days when they're, you know, struggling to, you know, keep their business open, you know, they have to fire thousands of Disney employees, or you know, they have to make lower budget movies because they can't afford the big budget movies. Then and only then will they understand that nobody wants this crap.
Yep, and by then, most of us will have already moved on to something else.
Yeah, we'll find our entertainment somewhere else, and it might be too late for you. Nerdporial Live Forum, how you doing, buddy?
Yes. Speaking of Nerdporial, he will be on Baron After Dark tonight, coming up at 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. As a special guest.
Baron seems to be a very knowledgeable fellow.
Yes. And he is the newest member of the Tuesday Night Trek crew.
There you go. Very nice.
Yes. I'm glad to have him there. So, our next story, because I need a laugh after that.
Yeah,
I do. And we've got this covered. Well, they can provide a pretty good laugh. Fans have decided that The Last Jedi is actually a pretty good Star Wars movie after all. But they didn't ask me.
what, yeah, what fans were those?
Okay, where was the polling station? Nobody asked.
Yeah, I didn't get my call. I didn't get my cold call. I didn't get to put in my 2 cents.
And they have a subheading saying the last word on The Last Jedi. Oh, this could be a good laugh. So it goes on to say it's difficult to understand how much anger Star Wars The Last Jedi generated. Rian Johnson's hugely anticipated sequel to The Force Awakens was praised by critics, but polarized. I wonder if they meant polarized but polarized by, or even parade by fans upset at the disrespectful treatment of Luke Skywalker, the mere presence of Laura Dern's Admiral Holdo, and complaints about the tactical realism of fantasy space warfare, amongst 1,000 other nitpicks. Thousands of guys with scraggly beards took to YouTube. I wonder who they could be talking about.
Oh, so let's put down the nerds, the ones who love this stuff. We're all a bunch of neckbeards living in our basements, living in mom's basement, basically.
Yep, just because we have an opinion and we saw the movie and went, what the heck is this?
Yeah. They don't want to pay attention to all the things that made zero sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And it goes on to say thousands of guys with scraggly beards took to YouTube to yell their spittle-feckled fury. Several of the film's stars were chased off social media. Yeah, but it was proven that that was false. That Kelly Marie Tran decided to do it herself.
Yeah.
And Ryan Johnson was, well, called a hack. Well, because he is a hack. He is a fraud.
Call him like we see him.
Yeah. We give our opinions, just like I'm giving my opinion now. And, call it communist, feminazi, delete as appropriate. Goes on to say, now 4 years on from its release, fans have decided The Last Jedi was actually pretty great.
No. Liar.
Oh gosh, I wish I had a clip of somebody saying liar.
Yeah. Does he oh well, you got to read, I guess, finish reading, but I want to know his sources. Who are these fans?
Yeah. I would love to have a clip right now of Anakin from Revenge of the Sith yelling, liar!
Liar!
There is a popular thread on Star Wars reevaluating the movie, with the OP saying that, like many, they absolutely hated the movie, but on rewatch they found a lot to like.
That's not usually how that goes. It's usually, here's how it's supposed to go. You watch the movie, you think it's okay. There's still, you feel like there's something wrong with it a little bit. You just can't put your finger on it. And then you rewatch it again and be like, oh yeah, that's wrong. That sucks. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. You don't reverse yourself on the back end. No,
you don't. And you want to know how many times I've watched The Last Jedi? Twice.
Yeah.
Once in the theater, and then once when it came out on digital.
Yeah.
And when I watched it on digital, I'm going, wow, this movie's even worse than it was the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I remember I was sitting at work after watching it, like a couple days after, and some guy who loves Star Wars came in to my office and it was like, hey, what do you think of The Last Jedi? And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to watch it again because, back in the day, I didn't care. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't, Empire wasn't my favorite Star Wars movie. I was young and I wanted more explosions and starfighters and whatnot, but, later on, I love it. I love it. But, back then I thought, well, maybe, I have to watch it again. Maybe it's, it's kind of like this generation's Empire. And I just kind of need to, soak it in more. And it takes me a little bit longer to appreciate it. Boy, was I wrong. It's nothing like Empire Strikes Back, because it was slow. And, he had the first big battle at the beginning of the movie, and then the rest of it was just a slow freaking chase through space and a side project that produced absolutely nothing. It was a big giant waste of time. And yeah, it just, and then, Luke exhausted himself to death. So it was a big giant crap burger.
Okay, I was not gonna enter until I read exactly that. It was, some fans said it was pretty great. Yes, I know which fans you actually ask, because it's nobody that actually watched that movie. God damn it! First of all, hi Pacific, hi Anono.
Hello, Sans Zoltan.
God, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know I don't know how to say it any other way, because they're talking bullshit out of their own asses, mouths, and every other orifice that they have in their faces. Honest to God, I cannot believe that people that watched that fucking movie that actually showed that they spent 20 minutes to 30 minutes to actually, I think it was 20 minutes, about showing them in a casino because they needed to do a little show off of, we need to free these monsters because they're important to. This was Star Wars. What the hell do we care about some little horses? Dude, we're actually fighting a war between the biggest empire against the rebellion, and you're talking about the little horses that are sad because they're trapped in here and they're using it for a casino. Oh no, and the people are killing everywhere else, so nobody cares about that. No, we not actually need.
Yeah, they cared more about the horsies than the actual slave children. They freed the horses and left the slave kids.
Yeah, because we actually see it at the end. Then there are still the slave kids in that place.
Yeah,
but nowadays, even if I watch it again, I will be like, no, this was bullshit. The second that they actually show, you see Leia flying instead of, because that scene when I was seeing it, I was like, okay, that's a dignified death. She actually died as she fought, always fighting for a rebellion. It was a shame, but it could happen. And then she opens her eyes and flies inside, and it's like, oh, nothing happened here. What? I was like, okay, you have to ask some questions. It's like she used the Force for the first time ever in front of somebody. Somebody will ask a question about that. But no, it's okay. No.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, a new Force power. What is she doing? And then, like, every time I turn around, ooh, another new Force power. What in the crap's going on?
Yeah,
just like in the Rise of Skywalker, Force healing.
Force teleporting. Force teleporting too. Then when they actually teleport things from one plane to another,
that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, the new Force power, they actually let you control 200 fleets of spaceships because you actually have that power. We don't know why. This. God damn it! That's the thing that they actually have to say. It's like they when you actually go to the movies and all that. I went to see The Force Awakens the first, and they actually released. George Lucas is here. He's watching us. He is taunting us with his power. So as I was seeing, The Force Awakens, I finished seeing it. I was like, it was not that good, not that bad. It was kind of hopeful because I said, okay, but I and my friend was like, he see it from the second one. He said, like, I don't understand why Rey actually knew how to wield a lightsaber and when she never actually used one. And I was like, oh, you're right. And then we started discussing, and we were like, oh shit, this movie was awful. And then to the second one, we didn't even go to see it in the movies, like in the cinema. And the day they actually watched it, I was like, my friend, the same friend, told me like, have you seen the new one? It was like, yeah, but it was boring. He said, yeah, but the power of Leia. And I said, like, yeah, but dude, we're still seeing up to this day, I still understand how people can understand, Chewie, but they understand it. So sometimes perhaps they don't want to explain it because they have a bigger plan. Let's just hope so. And then when I saw the trailer, then I saw the movie, and we saw the movie, that scene, I was like, oh, God damn it. I gotta have to apologize to my friend. My friend was completely right. Because I remember seeing a scene, I can't remember which one in the trailers was, that they actually show a little bit of that Force or something like that. Yeah. I remember now the part where Rey actually makes some rocks float, and it was kind of ridiculous the amount of power that she had. Yeah.
No, that was
well, because she's the bestest ever.
Exactly.
And that's another. Yeah, but it's like, how can people say that this is even good? Because it became so. I mean, your honest opinion right now, if you actually have the opportunity, I will pay you $100 to see it again. Will you see it? Something like that.
Well, for $100, yeah. I'll do it.
I don't know that $100 is enough.
I mean, you actually. I don't
I'm
mean
a whore. I'll do it.
I don't mean see it. I mean see it. You actually have to sit your ass off and see it completely.
Oh God, no! It's not worth $100. It's not.
No, $10.
I'd rather watch anything. but The Last Jedi again for $100.
Yeah.
You know about the
And that's
Rise of
another thing.
Skywalker?
Oh, that one I actually saw it only once, and I was like, no, not even gonna try.
Yeah. So which
There's
one's
a-
worse, Rise of Skywalker or the Last Jedi?
They're both bad because
No, they're
The
terrible.
Last Jedi, it just destroyed what was already established, and then The Rise of Skywalker tried to fit together what The Last Jedi put in and did a terrible job at it.
Yep.
Mm.
Maybe we should have a plan. You think that would be a good thing?
Yes, a plan would have been a great thing.
This is what I don't understand. The MCU phase 1 through 3, they had a freaking plan. They thought all these movies out. They thought the whole story arc out for the most part. You know, I'm sure they made some changes here and there to fit to kind of, fit everything together. But for the most part, they had all 3 phases figured out and they executed it almost flawlessly. Nobody at Disney thought to do this with Star Wars.
Okay, but you gotta have to ask only one question: what they were thinking when they actually made this movie, and we all
They
know
weren't.
what they were
They
thinking. No,
weren't.
yeah, no. There was a big plan, and the big plan was to make the Force female. They didn't even care what they actually released. They just needed that only. They needed to put a female protagonist. They didn't even care if it was important or not to the story. That's it. That was all. And that was the biggest problem that they had because they didn't even know where to go. They just wanted to do that because as you were actually seeing the trailers and all that for the first one, you were saying like, oh, okay, a stormtrooper that was black, and then he's probably a copy, and he's actually like he rebels or that, and he probably becomes a Jedi. He might be trained, and then you actually see Rey, and it's like she was a scrapyard person, and I don't know how she had that power, and then they. The biggest problem that it had is like they made her the granddaughter of the greatest Sith, and she
And then she takes
and,
the Skywalker name. She steals the Skywalker
yeah,
name and allows the Palpatines to win.
yeah. Oh, God damn
They
it! Yeah, that's the biggest problem that I have because
wasted Finn. They've wasted Finn.
Yeah, wasted him. Yep.
okay, I'm gonna have to ask, what was the exact year that was released, The Rise of Skywalker? 2019, right?
Yeah, 2019 was the last
The
Skywalker
last one.
saga
Yeah.
film. At least that's what
No,
Disney says. And I say that no, the Skywalker saga starts with the original Star Wars to Return of the Jedi, and then you have the prequels, and that's it.
okay, I'm just gonna say this. Today I was actually playing Spider-Man from the PS4. It's a great
Mhm.
game, and it was made in 2018. So they were actually had good writers. They care because this is actually like a mishmash between Insomniac, the production, and the writers from Disney. I don't know how it works, but it works like that. And the funny part is like they actually wrote a really good. For fans, it's great. I mean, Spider-Man is like Spider-Man. It has this little bit here and there that is not so much as as dark and all that, but it's still a great Spider-Man game. So you actually have to wonder why they couldn't like get some of these writers to watch a lot of it, like a lot of Star Wars, and say like, okay, we need to make a movie for the fans that continues this story. And they probably could have got something right. I mean, but nah.
And
Now,
Channel 66 has a question. He's asking if any of us and anyone in the chat has seen the new Star Wars commercial where the girl is wearing a shirt that says the Force is for everyone.
no.
It's always been for everybody.
Yeah, thanks for telling us.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
so
they.
dumb.
That's the funny part because it's like they try to put it first, like the Force is female, and then they say the Force is for everyone when people didn't wanted to watch this movie.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
drive
like,
away. They drive away all their fans of
yeah,
Star Wars, and then, hey guys, the Force is for everybody. Yeah, we
yeah.
know, Stooge.
We already know because it was like that from the beginning, you moron.
Hmm.
Ah,
Come back, come back.
and that's
Yeah.
another thing because if this is the same as I will say, if they make it put some logic into it, put some kind of story, try to make it. For example, when a lot of times when we're actually talking like Ghostbusters 2016, another one of those, it's like they actually try to pander to the possibility of being woman. It's like we don't care if they're women. Are they good written? They have kind of a logic inside them. They actually like keep the essence of the movie right. Do they actually understand how the Ghostbuster existed before? And this is the same. This could have been great because they actually had the characters and all that inside the movie. So instead of making Rey like the biggest Jedi, they could have made part of the rebellion, a good pass the mantle from Leia to her, and then you could actually have like Finn being the guy that actually gets like with Han Solo, and he becomes another rebellion, but more into into the bounty hunter kind of part. And then you actually have like the Jedi could have been, I don't know, perhaps they made a Poe. Just saying, I don't know, another character. And it could have been a little bit more like in sequence to what happened exactly with Ghostbusters, the new movie that you actually see like the granddaughter of the original Aegon. He started to try then with it, and it makes sense. Even if some people say like it's campy or something, yeah, but it makes sense. It's a person that actually really like his this kind of things, and she was always like investigating all that. When she finds out, she starts to look it up at her own story and his background. This could have been the same. They could have made something special just by saying something like something stupid, like making each character have a different. They could have made specifically the first movie making showing the three stories, and in the second movie making them get together with the original parts. Like Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Luke. And get together and like say like you were training as a disciple, yes, and you were training and then they could be laughing and say like, "Oh, we actually had the same idea," but no,
Nope.
No.
and that's
They
what I
don't do
mean.
that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The thing I thought just while he was talking, it kind of popped in my head. You know what it would have been, even if Ray was Palpatine's daughter. I mean, that's the route they were going. Fine. You know what? That could have been an awesome scene for The Last Jedi if it was done right. And, she's trying to figure out who she is, where her parents are. And it could have been a no, I'm your father moment for that movie. It could have been before, that anybody knew Palpatine was even going to be in the last movie. That could have been a really gut punch moment, but
Oh,
failed opportunities.
yeah, but it happens sometimes. You know how it is, and even like that, I still think that I can believe it sometimes because the more that I see that this kind of things is like they didn't even try. They never try.
No,
Uh,
they
I
didn't
can believe
care.
it sometimes. It's like they didn't even have an idea. They didn't even have like anything at all. Yeah.
Well, did they not try? I think. I mean, you got to look at it like this. They're untalented. They hire activists instead of actual writers, seasoned writers, experienced writers, and of course they have their agenda they have to weave into it, and that obviously kills the story, and their writers aren't talented enough to know what they're writing is kindergarten level stuff. So when they
Mm.
write it, they're
Because
thinking
they
they're patting
haven't been,
themselves on the back.
and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they haven't been through any sort of life experience.
No, they haven't.
Not only that, they actually like went from one place to another. It's like as you see them, they don't even have an idea. They actually change directors between movies, and that's the biggest and most stupid thing that you can actually do between the movies. There has to be a trilogy. Sorry, especially because of that. But imagine this, for example, you actually make it Back to the Future, and instead of Robert Zemeckis on the second movie, it will be like I don't know, J.J. Abrams, just for saying the name. It will be a disaster because it doesn't have the same ideas, it doesn't have the same script, it doesn't have anything at all. It'd be like
He
Robert
doesn't have the
Zemeckis
same
and
vision.
Yeah, it's like you can actually see it then, especially as you see these movies that they didn't have a plan. They were just throwing things for throwing things. And a lot of people will say to you, even myself, I will say it. The first one was a carbon copy of the originals, which it would have been
Yeah.
better if they made some kind of idea behind it. But in this in this kind in this kind of words, as you see it once and again, once and again, once and again, you kind of understand that they don't have plans for anything at all, and I mean for anything at all. As you see it, and this is stupid. Sorry, that's why I enter, and I'm gonna leave right now because I had another stream, but I wanted to stop by first by say hi, stuff. And
I
I
appreciate
I
it, brother.
always, man. And I hated hearing them sound pretty great. God, you pieces. You cannot say that. You can't say that because I've been a fan since I was 10 years old of Star Wars. I play the games. I listen to the music. I've been watching. I even watched Clone Wars. I read a little bit of the comics, not a lot, but I read the comics. And then you come and say to me that the entire when you say that's another thing. When they say that, like, oh, the expanded universe is not important, it's not part of the lore. I was like, are you for real? Even as I read like two or three comics. Even like that, I was like, oh, damn it, this would be great in a movie. Like putting some kind of these characters, making some kind of story. But no, no, they are not important. They're not part of the lore. We don't have any lore. God damn it! How can you say and then tell me that this is pretty great? And that was another thing that actually bothered me out because I was not. I'm not joking. I was just gonna be like in the background talking to you and all that, but I was not gonna. But as I heard those words, I was like, you didn't even talk to one of those fans. I know for a fact that you're just pandering to the same people that you pander all the time. The people that will never give you money, they will never watch your stuff. Stop it. Get some help. I'm not joking. They should put that meme every time they show something like this. Because, honest to God, they must be high out of their asses to say this stupid shit. And
I
that's
think
it.
nobody will check them. They don't think anybody's going to call them on it, or their word is gospel. Hey, look at us. Hey, I talked to 4 people and they're all Star Wars fans, and they say The Last Jedi was a lot better than what they thought. So everybody, all the fans, just creative propaganda.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. Propaganda. They can spin
Yeah.
it any way they want.
And that's another thing because how can you make that's what I will never understand, and that's the funny part about all this, this movement and all those the stupid things that they actually do. It's like they're making propaganda of a show, something so simple, something so like propaganda shouldn't be about a show. They should be just a show. Then the propaganda can come after it because we will not care because we don't care about propaganda in our shows. We never care. The people will tell to me sometimes, One Piece is really political, and I was like, have you read One Piece? And people tell me, yes, it's really political. You haven't read One Piece. I'm not joking. You haven't read, because if you say it's political, you don't understand anything about the story of One Piece. Because it's the less political show that you can actually see what I mean with this. Because Luffy doesn't care about politics. When they say when Nico Robin actually joins their crew, she says, "I want to learn about the story of those 400 years that have disappeared." He said, "Okay." He never asked like what happened or no. He doesn't care. The characters don't care about those type of stuff. The only one that cares is Nico Robin. That's the only character. And it'll be like a lot of people will tell you like, no, it's really political. Yes, if you see in the background, but the characters don't care. Characters only like to live for free. That's it. That's what he wants to be, the Pirate King. He doesn't want the government or whatever telling them what to do. That's it. And said that's political. Okay, but that's not important to the story. We don't you don't care about that. That's another point to the story. Not it's not the central entire story. And it happens a lot. Like for example, if that's a very big like scare or fear or whatever you want to call it that I have with the new movie, that they actually make it so much important that they try to push it like a lot. That point of we don't know about the 400 years and all that. And I'll be like, oh fuck this, because like I'm saying this of this 400 years and all that. This happened between, and I'm not joking, that 1,000 episodes. I think there were like bits and pieces of those 1,000 episodes. They don't even display some of that, and it's like it gets to that point. So yeah, and it happened a lot. Then I'm tired. I'm honest to God tired. I don't want to watch any new show. I'm just going back to the time, when they actually wanted to make a show and just shut up. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I, I'm strongly considering doing reviews of old TV shows.
Dude, if you start doing that, I'm gonna show you if you want. You just tell me what show you want to see. I will see it with you. I will discuss it. I don't care about new shows. The other day I watched The Prisoner because just Richard told me like, "Have you seen it?" No, okay, I'm gonna see it, and I loved it. I was like, "Oh,
It's
this
a
is
good
great."
show. It's a very
Yeah,
good show.
and I was like, "Dude, this was in the '60s. How can they not make this with the new graphics and all that? It would be even better." It's like saying, when you see Maxwell Smarts and it's like some people will tell to you like it was camp, it was stupid, dude. It was 60s, 70s, and it's great because it's funny, it's hilarious, it has more creativity than most of the shows nowadays, and it's made with like, it's like Mr. Bean, it was made with like $10, a guy that couldn't speak and a lot of crazy things that could happen in the middle, and he only had one season. Mr. Bean only has one season, and I still remember. Just imagine that. Firefly, Megas XLR. Oh god damn it! So many that had only one season. They started like a new movement between cartoon shows and all that. And this actually has 3 movies, and they couldn't even like make one measly idea to actually be relevant nowadays because they try to still push Ray and Finn and all and Kylo Ren and all that stupid shit, and then they could never get to the point of being Luke, Yoda, Han Solo, Leia, and all that. Because honest to God, each time that I see like the Mandalorian or something like that, or Boba Fett, whatever you want to call it, they're always the old characters. They don't like to show the new characters because nobody's gonna watch it. We're actually having a show about right now of Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Vader. So you're telling me that Kylo Ren was so irrelevant that they actually throw it in the trash and you will never speak about him again? Imagine that. Imagine my surprise.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't do anything. They won't do anything past the sequel trilogy. They know it was junk, and they know nobody wants anything extension of that, so they'll abandon that, and that's why they're going back to the past. That's why they're going in between Return of the Jedi and Rogue One, so they have plenty of opportunity to tell stories there, but they still just can't hit the mark.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I will always say, and that's the funny part about this entire trilogy. Is like the more that you understand that they actually throw this into your faces, because that's what they did. They didn't even care what they were making. They just throw it to your faces. It was like jingling keys to you in that moment. And the more I think they do this kind of news and all that just to keep relevant that story. Because honest to God, if somebody didn't remind me every kind of 2 or 3 or 4 months about this, I'll be like, "Oh, do you remember Ray Skywalker?" I'll be like, yes, that one," and that's it. That will be it about all that. Because honest to God, those movies were so irrelevant that nowadays, even if you see it, they try to push it everywhere, and even like that, we don't care. I still remember the other day when I saw the video of Gary and Jeremy shooting the Ray Skywalker in Fortnite. I was laughing my ass off because people took it to the other side. It was so stupid. And I'm like, it's understandable. To them, it's a hated character because it will be like I'm right now kind of scared because Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be released, and we've seen what Disney has done with a lot of their properties, and I've been following for almost 20 years already. I think 18 already, and if they do something like that, you will. I'm gonna nuke my channel. I know for a fact that will be the moment that you will see the real Sun Sultan. That will be that day, because I will not have any kind. The other day I was seeing a video of a stream of 4 people that actually in between them there was Cash Money, and they were talking about Kingdom Hearts the games, and I heard them like saying something good, something bad, and they were like. And I say like, but I finished all those games and I loved all of them. And I was like, why did I love all of them? And then I understood that from my point of view, it's different because I'm not so nitpicky with that game. It's the only one game that I'm like, I can understand if it has a little bit of a problem here and there, but I still enjoy it because I love the story. And they were like, I don't like this. For example, during drop distance, you have to change between characters, but you can use an item to never change between them. It's not necessary, but they will tell like, no, they actually like push you to change. And I was like, no, I finished the story with Sora, and then I finished the story with Rico, and I never changed the characters. So I wanted to like enter that stream or talking to them, but I was like, no, I don't want to be like that conflict guy. So I said, no, I'll leave it like that. And that's just the only thing that actually like it's like this. Star Wars was another one, but I'm like, okay, Star Wars is already dead to me. But Kingdom Hearts, I still love it. I still play the games, buy it, whatever. And that is the
Well,
biggest problem that I have. Yeah.
even on the 25th, I've already planned to have Pop Talk be centered around the original Star Wars movie and why we still love it.
And that's a funny thing, and that's what I mean. I'm afraid that they will actually push this same bullshit into Kingdom Hearts, and that's the day I'm gonna get really angry because
Square
that's
Enix is already pushing
yeah.
some of this stuff into their games.
No. But that's the funny thing. If you play the third game, and this is the funny part I was gonna tell you, Kyrie is a female character that they actually made her a blade wielder and all that. And the moment that she actually tried to fight Xehanort grabbed her from the head, crystallized her, and made her explode. That's it. That was that character. She didn't even give one swing of her keyblade. She was a disaster fighting. So I was like, that was good because it makes sense. It was tragic to the characters, but I was like, but that makes sense. One keyblade wielder that didn't train for only 3 months is not gonna be able to be the biggest boss of the game. She just tried once, it was like, psh, done. She was dead, and I was like, "Oh, it makes sense."
She wasn't a Mary Sue.
Yeah, and that was great because in this new game probably it's gonna be a new train, great thing. But I'm just hoping that they don't make her more powerful than Sora, which could happen, and it will be a disaster because that's the moment I'm gonna get real angry because Sora sacrificed his own life to actually save her. And he went to like another universe directly, and I don't know if they're gonna explain if that's another universe, if it's real world. I don't know. That's another thing for another day. But even like that, I'm still thinking that they could do it because this is Disney, and I don't know. Square Enix is trying the same, so it's like, and
Yeah.
once again, it can happen, and it will be the same as this because. Even as I was a big fan of Star Wars, it was not my entire life. You know, it was not like the biggest show of the universe to me. So it was a great show. I love the games. I love everything about it. But I didn't have like, like for example, if I have to make it two, I will do a thing about Kingdom Hearts if it finished well. But if not, it's the same with One Piece. But if Star Wars ended well, I wouldn't even care because it's like I hated these movies. I hated all that. But nowadays, it's, as Gary says sometimes, apathy. I don't care if they make Mandalorian, Boba Fett, whatever. I'm done. I was done. That moment of the ninth movie, I was done. Everything else, it will be like filler to me. It's like I say always, it's tough for Star Wars. They have a great plate, 5-star hotel plate. The one of those that you actually like finish eating and you actually have to leave a tip of 20% because it was great. And they start throwing tofu into it. Like Mandalorian season 2, Boba Fett, Star Wars versus Obi-Wan Kenobi and all that. And it's like they start to blow the plate and you don't care anymore. You're not eating it because you want to eat it. You're just eating it because it was full of all the things that you don't care at all.
Same thing happened with Star Trek back in the 90s. They kept putting out, Star Trek product after Star Trek product. And that oversaturation, after 18 years of Star Trek, people said no more. Enterprise gets canceled and you don't get anything Star Trek until the 2009 J.J. Abrams. And yeah, at the time, everybody's enjoying it because it's non-Star Trek fans that are enjoying it. Real Star Trek fans are starting to nitpick. And
yeah, I was enjoying the first Star Trek movie right up to the point where I figured out they're not going to undo everything. And then I got freaking mad. I was like, they didn't fix anything. They're going to go along with this timeline. This isn't right. What the crap just happened? So yeah, screw you, JJ. You suck.
Yeah, mostly nowadays it's like, honest to God, I don't know which director I could say like they will do a great job because even if like Raimi the other day with Doctor Strange and all that, we know he's a great director and he tried the best. But you have those like I always say the whip in the back, and they will say like, no, don't do that, no, don't do this, do that, and it's like, as Gary said, they cast the directors and the actors and all that. They don't care anything at all. So they just had the product finished and they just want to throw it like they want it. And to some point, even if the director or the writer or whatever is a great one, because probably he could be a great one, he could be like giving you the Mona Lisa in your hands of movies, and they will say like, no, I don't like this because it sounds toxic. And we're like, why is it toxic? I mean, this one has the guy being like a hero, and it doesn't make any sense because he tries to get the girl, and the girl accepts her moves. And probably the writer will say, but that makes sense. Have you ever go to outside and talk to people? A woman would like a man like that, and a man would like to be like him. So it makes sense. And we're like,
Not
no,
in
no,
their-
no, it's too toxic, and
Not in their
that's it.
town.
Yeah, and that's the problem that they have because we were actually discussing the other day, when we see the 32 flavors of Toxic Tuesday. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the show. They actually rated between how toxic it is and and we saw Rocky. And you think for 5 seconds, like you see the first one, then you have the scene when he actually invites her to the house, and then you see the bully getting angry and throwing everything and throwing the turkey out of the place and say like go outside. All those kind of things are real toxic nowadays, high in politicity, and they couldn't make that movie right now because a scriptwriter will bring that movie like Rocky One. It's a classic nowadays, and they will get like, no, it's too toxic. Why? Because happened this, and this, and we have a muscular man that actually fights another muscular. That doesn't make any sense, and even if Fox, why can it be a woman? Like they will make like $1 million baby, but
I
worse.
was going to
I
say
mean,
we already had a
yeah.
female version of Rocky, $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, but that's the point. If they make nowadays $1 million baby, they will probably make her impossible to beat. That's it. That's the movie. She will never
Yeah,
lose. She will never have any problem. And they will be like,
she
"What's the point of?" Yeah,
she's gonna wake up one morning with all the boxing skills that she needs. She's not gonna need any training, any practice. She's gonna
ah,
already know it.
I'm gonna say this, and if you want to look for this news because it was hilarious, they actually made Barbara, Batgirl, make her magically heal herself and start walking again. I'm not joking. That's it. They made a
Oh
new
boy.
Gordon. It's like she actually started to train and she got better and she started to walk and it was like, what? And I'm not joking. That's part of a new comic. So, yeah.
Well, comics themselves are failing anymore because of the identity politics and all the other crap they like to shove into the stories.
Yeah, but that's even funnier because it's a woman, it's a bad girl, and they needed to actually explain why it happened. It was like, oh god damn it. And then I was like, okay, I can understand if, like, for example, they grab like, I don't know, they made her go with Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman actually gave her a rebirth or something like that. I don't know, some go crazy, but not just say that she trained and she got better. It's like, no, she had her spine broken. Well, technically shot, so yeah, but uh, it's so stupid. And that happens a lot nowadays. It's like you're waiting for the new. What's gonna happen today, dude? what? It's like you wake up every day, and that image of the meme is real. You actually wake up and you watch YouTube and say, okay, what's the new stupid thing that you actually did with a new character, with an old character? And yeah, watch the guy box and learn that. Yeah, yeah, all her own. Yes, I can't remember which character happened that last week. I see something like that. Ah, yes, Shang-Chi. Yes, that is Shang-Chi. Yeah, I was thinking the same. I remember that plot. Oh god damn it, that's so stupid.
Yep.
But yeah,
And to continue on with this article,
yeah,
it
sir.
goes on to saying that like so many absolutely hated the movie, but on a rewatch they found lots of praising Luke's story arc on him rediscovering hope. The thing about it is Luke should have ever lost that hope. If they go off the story of Return of the Jedi, Luke never gave in to the Emperor. Even when
Hmm.
the Emperor was hitting him with Force lightning, he wasn't giving up. And he even called out to Vader for help to try to bring Vader back to the light side. And it worked.
But that's when you have good writers. You know how it is.
Yep. And this goes on to say other users agree, saying it was nice to watch a Star Wars movie with an unpredictable plot and saying that it has gloves off storytelling.
Hmm? What?
Lots of storytelling.
What the hell is a glove of
I'm chuckling
storytelling?
myself up here.
I mean,
Okay, what does it mean? I still am trying to understand it because
brains off storytelling, maybe.
Mhm.
but why gloves? Why it's like saying? I mean, I'm Argentinian, sorry, but gloves of storytelling means like they actually like have practice or something like that.
No, basically it means that no holds barred. It was
Sorry.
raw. It
I
was
just read it. No, I read it. When he said it, I read it wrong in my mind. It's gloves of storytelling. That are,
Mhm.
no. They gotta say that. No, they, they didn't even take one risk. That was bullshit. All the entire movie, they didn't take any risk because they could have killed Leia just to show that they could kill a character, and the actress was dead, so it will be a good send off. And they couldn't even do that because they knew that Leia died. They couldn't even have a second in command there, so they actually made her go back to life and go flying. So that was not a global storytelling. That don't bring that bullshit. Go on.
And the article goes on to say many also say that in retrospect. Who says it in retrospect? Give me
Hey,
names.
all they
Give
have
me
to do is
names.
say they, the imaginary
Mhm.
people out in the world that they say. They won't tell you who that is though.
The shock factor of unceremoniously killing off Snoke is very fun. No, it's not. No,
It
it's
was.
not. You built up this new villain in
Mm,
The Force Awakens, and then you're thinking in The Last Jedi, you're gonna get a chance to learn about this new villain.
Yeah,
No,
where'd he come
they kill him
from?
off.
Who was he? Where'd he come from? Has he been around all the time? Is he relatively new? Was he like lost in space somewhere and he came around after Return of the Jedi? What? No, but we still don't
Mhm.
know. We still don't freaking
No.
know.
okay, and they could have one of the greatest characters right there because they could have made a story about Hawking, like he put like in the mind of Luke that story about being the one that is gonna kill everyone and the Kylo Ren and all that, and that will make more sense because he needed like Kylo Ren needed to hate his own family, so he could have been the puppeteer behind behind the darkness, and it will be more faithful to the story of the emperor and all that. It will be like he has so much power that he can imply ideas into the minds of others, and Luke could have been like, I have a premonition, something like that, and I saw him killing everyone and destroying everything, and that could have been Snoke using his powers to just make Luke believe that into a point of saying, oh, okay, I need to kill my own nephew even if it's hard. And that could have made a lot more sense than just like it's a premonition, so I need to do it. And he was Kylo Ren, and he became. That's that they have so much potential with that character, especially because as you see it in the first movie, they're like, okay, this is the new emperor. Into what point he will come in play, into what kind of scheme is he playing between the beginning and the end of that movie and all that. So when you see it the second time, he says like he's a puppet to me. He will never do anything that I don't tell him to do. I was like, what? That's your own power. That's what all you do. It's like no,
Mhm.
you should actually be more powerful than that because it will be even better to show somebody that it's impossible to kill. And that moment when she actually like turned the lightsaber on and cuts him in half, I was like, that was so stupid. Come on, dude, you're actually like you can feel the force. You cannot feel this lightsaber moving by itself. He'll be like, okay. He will be like, what the hell is that noise? And he will be like, grabbing the lightsaber, saying, "Do you want to kill me with this? Are you for real? Like, I'm gonna show you
Hey,
what's real power."
Snoke
And like, grab her
Snoke
from
should have
the
grabbed that
yeah,
lightsaber, knowing that Kylo Ren and Rey wanted to kill him, and he should have
yeah,
killed either Kylo Ren or Rey right then and
yeah.
there to show how
Not even that.
powerful he
Not
is.
even that. I should have thrown them out of space and then choked them just in case. It's like you're not gonna survive this. And then they could have made like the rebellion actually saves, if you want, save the both of them, and it will be like the okay, Kylo Ren joins the rebellion because he saw that his own master betrayed him. So they start to like find out that he was the one that planned it. A love story you can actually make it for making it good, like a hero journey or a redemption journey, whatever you want to make it. But if you wanted to kill one, it would have been better to kill Rey. So Kylo Ren will like doubt his own master because once he kills Rey, there's nobody to stop him. So he starts to get power hungry, and he sees him as a threat. And then he starts to like have to fight it. Then it will have made more sense because it will make Kylo Ren to doubt his own master and say, "Okay, you wanted me just because you needed me for this. To the point that I'm not useful anymore, you're just gonna discard me and you're gonna kill me." So that's when and have you ever seen Hang and Avatar: The Legend of Aang? It's like that. Once they haven't any need, like his own father his own kid betrayed his father when he questioned his own like power and rule and all that. So he banished him, and that makes the character wanted to go back. But when he comes back, he understands that power was unnecessary, and he didn't want it anymore. He wanted to be like a normal person eventually. So he has a redemption arc and all that. And that will be the same. It's like he wanted that power because he wanted to destroy everyone. And then when he starts to kill people for real, like killing friends, killing everyone, he will be like, "Oh, damn it, this is bad." Or something like that. But once again, it's a Star Wars. You have a lot of potential because there's no barriers into it. It's a Star Wars. Literally, you can make it. Like Kylo Ren has the decision of killing an entire planet, like we have seen Beta do. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this even if it's hard and all that. Okay, I blew one planet. And he's like, okay, I did it how you asked, Master. And he says like, no, you need to kill more. You have to start destroying every planet in every galaxy until nobody is gonna challenge me at all. And he's like, but is it necessary, Master? Is this the only path? Yes, and you will follow it. If not, you will betray me. And it's like that. And you have a character that's actually showing his power, and he says like, "Do you challenge me, boy?" or something like that, And it makes him like doubt to say no, and I will never do it because you're my master. And then he starts to think as he starts killing planets, because this is Star Wars. You can kill 1,000,000 planets because it's not in the lore. They say it's Star Wars. So there are a lot of stars. And then they make one of those, actually, for example, if you want it, if you like so much that representation, why don't you make it as Avatar? You make him fall in love with an alien girl. And the master says, like, that is not the path that I choose for you. You cannot fall in love with anyone, you cannot believe in anyone, you cannot have any kind of, and that makes another path to that representation or whatever you want to call it, and you make the girl important for him. So that makes once again, I'm trying to like think a story in 5 minutes, and that's what I'm coming with. And even like that, it would make more sense than when they deal with poor Snoke. And I'm just saying poor Snoke because it was
all of us here on the panel, everybody in the chat could come up with a better story than what we've got, because I'm still looking at this article too, and they're saying how making Kylo Ren the core antagonist was never capitalized on. It also goes on to say many replies also correctly identified that a big reason why The Last Jedi is seeing a big rehabilitation amongst fans is that it was followed by the truly dreadful The Rise of Skywalker. Funny, I think both films are bad, and I'm not seeing any redeeming quality of The Last Jedi, and I'm not going to go watch it for a third time.
Yeah.
The reason why The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker was so bad is because The Last Jedi was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that,
cause and effect.
It's the biggest problem that it had is that they destroyed one of the biggest characters needed to make a redemption arc into Rey, even because Luke Skywalker was needed in the ending to make her understand, because she never trained. They say like, no, she did train. Yes, with Leia at the end. It was like, and we didn't even see it. It was off cam, so it makes even less sense.
She trained.
Yeah, because with Luke's training, we saw him train. Even in Attack of the Clones, we saw Obi-Wan there with Anakin, trying to give Anakin the best guidance he could, but Anakin was headstrong and wanted to charge right into battle. That's why he lost his lightsaber duel against Dooku.
That's why he lost his arm.
True.
Impetuous.
He's still working. You hear his voice in
All right, so this
Well,
article.
I just have to leave because they were. I was gonna be in another stream, so I just stopped by for this one, and I wanted to say once again, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna be lurking and see what the hell did you talk about after, because I know
All right.
there's gonna be one of those. But I want to thank you once again, Pacific, for letting me stay for a little bit, and and
Not
I
a
will be
problem,
seeing
Sam.
you. Whenever I see you, I'm gonna show your channel on that. I think I need to more promotions to everyone. So bye people, bye and people in the chat. See you
See
some
you,
other
Thank
day.
you
man.
for stopping by, brother.
We're good.
No problem. Take care, people.
But yeah, let's see what else this article has to say. It goes on to say that film story was altered after Lucasfilm got paranoid after The Last Jedi hate, resulting in the boneheaded decision to bring Emperor Palpatine back and retcon Rey to be his granddaughter, nearly the undercutting The Last Jedi's message that anyone can be a hero. Here's hoping Rian Johnson's long and developed Star Wars trilogy, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not just my opinion. We all know it's not going to happen.
Nope.
Isn't completely dead, as we'd love to see him return to a galaxy far, far away. Maybe you guys do it. We got this covered, but not me. No wonder
Oh,
people
got
consider
this
we got this covered a joke website.
Yeah,
Because it is.
Their reputation has. I never went to it, but I know Gary's always been used to go to it, I guess. But yeah, he's not very fond of that website anymore, and this is exactly the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, terrible, terrible takes, and he's full of crap.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen other stories by them, and the first thing I do is roll my eyes.
Yeah. I don't.
You talk about impulse reaction, that's it. Like, oh gosh, here we go again. All right, so got some wrestling news here. Yes, wrestling news, because I still pay attention to what's going on in WWE and AEW. Maybe not as much as I used to, but I still take a peek every now and then. This article is from comicbook.com, and it says AEW's Dustin Rhodes, also known as Goldust, in WWE, reveals what their dad would have thought of Cody Rhodes' move to WWE. Well, it's going to be interesting to read Dustin Rhodes' take, because even his father, Dusty, went over to WWE. Unfortunately, he never became WWE champion because of, well, reasons. And one of those reasons being Hulkamania.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on to say Cody Rhodes' move from AEW to WWE has been one of the biggest stories of the year for several reasons, including the fact that it's the first time someone has moved back from AEW to WWE, the first of many. That's the thing. Wrestlers have always bounced from one company to another because they want to get paid.
Yeah, it's all about the Benjamins.
Yep.
And how they're getting treated too.
Mm-hmm. And it says the first time someone has moved from AEW to WWE since the company launched. Cody's brother Dustin is still in AEW though, and in a new interview on Renee Paquette, and of course she used to be in WWE as well, the Sessions podcast, Dustin was asked about Cody's decision to leave and head back to WWE. Dustin is, of course, bummed that he isn't working alongside Cody in AEW anymore, but he does feel that their father, Dusty Rhodes, would approve of Cody's decision to take the money. See? Proved it right there.
Yep.
He goes on to say, I knew Dad always wanted us to be happy, and he, Dusty Rhodes, would have his suggestions like that and try to lead us in the right way, Dustin said. But ultimately, these are our decisions, right? Money is money, and Dad would always say, take the money. He always said, take the money. And I know just me watching it, Cody's first promo after WrestleMania and seeing Dad up there on the screen and talking about him, and Cody's very passionate about his promos, about everything, a single word that he's gonna say, which is very important, right? Especially for that first one, which was very important. You're making a huge impact on a lot of people. It's the first time you've been back in years. He did it, and I know Dad would be very happy. He's sitting in the rafters. That's where I pictured him when me and Cody wrestled at Double or Nothing. And that match that Dustin and Cody had at the first Double or Nothing back in 2019, that was a very good match. And I'm saying that as a wrestling fan. Even if they were both still in AEW together, Dustin rolled out Ever Wrestling Cody again a while back. I've talked about this a lot over the past couple of years. Having an opportunity to work with my brother and not knowing what to expect with the AEW audience and no idea I'm gonna get any reaction at all, and just the fact that we went out there and we got a reaction, and the match was like just for me and him perfect. It was a long time coming that we weren't allowed to in WWE. No, there was a WrestleMania where they wanted to do a Stardust versus Goldust match, and Vince denied it. He said, nope, not going to happen. It goes on to say, not Stardust versus, excuse me, not Stardust versus Goldust. I mean, just serious brother versus brother. It's hard to do. It's hard to do as you look at all the brothers versus brothers. There is nothing good to come from them, right? I'll never do it again. I'll never wrestle him again. It did a lot for me that night, Rhodes said, although I have to admit, the Bret Hart and Owen Hart match from WrestleMania 10, in my opinion, was a very good match. Okay.
I don't remember when I actually stopped watching wrestling. I know the Harts. Man, I don't remember. I know I've watched several WrestleManias, but I don't know if I got to 10.
Mm-hmm. The article continues by saying, as for Cody heading to WWE, Rhodes said, I was happy for him, but I missed him already, and I miss him being here. But I know he's young, and, let's go. Go do your thing. So I'm very happy for him. And I'm like, hey, man, more power to you. Go get that title and win it all and do your stuff. Yeah. He's being supportive of his brother. He's not going, oh my gosh, I can't believe he went to WWE after what WWE's done to the both of us in our time there. No, he's saying, get
yours. Yeah, you get yours, buddy. And I can understand that. I don't know how much they made back in the day. I was a big fan of Dusty Rhodes in the Ric Flair grudge, That was always great. And I don't know how much money they made back then. I don't know if they were swimming in it. They might have been. I'm not really sure, because back then it was mostly, they had to have one big event every once in a while just to, do it up big. I don't remember what they called it back then. It might have been No, that was WWF stuff, WrestleMania.
There was Starrcade for WCW.
Yeah. There was
one of them I'm thinking of.
When they have the big cage match or something. And
World War III was, I think that was the big cage match. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah. And so, the most time you ever saw him was on Saturday. watching the regular broadcast of wrestling, and I'm sure they weren't making millions. And as time goes on, other companies, I guess WWE, WCW, they offer more money to these guys to switch on over, and why the crap not? I mean, you're putting your body through all kinds of just torture, and a lot of these guys die young. They're working out, they're probably doing steroid stuff, just to keep up, and they need to make as much money as they possibly can, and I don't blame them a bit.
No, get the money while they can. I mean, that's why you saw guys like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hogan jump to WCW, was because WCW was offering limited dates for them to be on the road and a lot of money to go along with it.
There you go. Yep.
I mean, yeah, they eventually returned to then WWF when WCW was bought out by Vince, but they still got the money.
Yeah.
Even Brock Lesnar now, he's not in UFC. He's back with WWE, and the only reason he's back with WWE is because of the money.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot over the years. Not a lot, but a decent handful of these guys, moving over into the movie business, trying to be actors. Yeah, because not just The Rock. You had Brian Bosworth. No, he was football, wasn't he? Yeah, he was football. Never mind. He was football. But a lot of these wrestlers have tried moving over. You had
Piper, Hogan.
Yeah.
Stone Cold.
Zeus.
Yeah.
That's where the money was. It's like, oh, I can go over here and do a movie. And they could probably make quadruple what they were making just wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they want the money. They want their future taken care of. More
Even Cena's doing it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As long as they'll let them, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm. And I figure that's a good segue into this next article, because according to Variety, Viola Davis is in talks to star as Amanda Waller in Peacemaker spinoff series for HBO Max. And this is by Joe Otterson, and it was actually posted last week, but I really didn't cover it on last Wednesday's Pop Talk or even Sunday's Pop Talk, so I figured I'd cover it on this one. It says Viola Davis is eyeing a return to the role of Amanda Waller in her own spin-off series currently in the works at HBO Max. Variety has learned from sources. Exact plot details are mostly under wraps at this point, but sources say the show will build off Waller's appearance at the end of Suicide Squad spin-off series Peacemaker, which actually did get better as it got closer to the end, although I will still maintain that I didn't care for the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, that kept me from watching it. Everybody kept saying, it just went right out of the bat, went stupid, and it just turns you anything nowadays. You get a couple good reports about a TV show or a movie, if they're credible, then it flips your switch. I don't want to watch that anymore. I don't even want to look at it.
Well, it's like when it came to Batwoman and Loki. I watched 20 minutes of Batwoman, turned it off. 15 minutes of Loki, turned it off, and never went back. And when Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor, because of the story of the episode, I turned it off.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered even to pick that up. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna ruin it. They were already ruining it. I bowed out like Capaldi's last season around the 3rd episode. I was like, this is garbage.
Yeah, he was a great actor, and they gave him crap stories.
Yeah. Yep. And I was like, what the crap's going on with all this stuff? And this was back back before I I knew there was goofiness going on, but I just like, am I the only one seeing this? And then I found Dave Cullen on YouTube talking about Doctor Who, and I was like, everything. I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, yep, I seen it, yep. So, I watched
Even
all
Gary
his
on
videos.
Nerdrotic has pointed out issues that Doctor Who was having under Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, it's just it creeps in, and then it just goes, pedal to the metal, and they don't slow down. They're not going to slow down now. Everybody had
going.
Yeah, everybody had a little bit of hope, just a hair of hope that RTD came back, and maybe he'll fix it. Oh my gosh, he might retcon the Timeless Child, and we're gonna get our Doctor Who back. And no, let's hire the most flamboyant gay man who just reeks of diversity and inclusion, and calls the Doctor they, and it's over. RTD came back to oversee the complete demise of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. And to continue on with this article, it says, in the season 1 finale of Peacemaker, Waller's daughter and spy, Abigail Daniel Brooks, outs her mother publicly for her work with Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad. Davis made a brief cameo appearance in the first and last episodes of the show. Yes, she did. Davis would executive produce the series in addition to starring. Crystal Henry would write and executive produce. Henry's past credits include the HBO hit limited series Watchmen. Wait. Watchmen was a hit?
Did he say hit?
Watchmen was a hit? Yeah, that's not what I heard. It failed.
Everybody heard.
It failed.
See? More propaganda.
Yep.
They are so good at telling lies. It's second nature to them. Everything's a hit. Everybody loves this. It's it's just a success. It's stunning. It's brave. That's the buzzwords they have. They just have a list right there on their monitor. It's when they're typing stuff. Let's insert that one. Let's insert that one there, and boom, we got an article.
Yep, it's just like I was saying in my rant at the beginning of the broadcast. Checkbox. Yep. Checkbox.
It's terrible.
It is.
So are they going to make this like the Watchmen, or is that what they're saying, or they're comparing it to it?
Yeah. The way my thinking works, anytime they start comparing it to a series like The Watchmen, I'm thinking, oh, you're going to make it just like The Watchmen, aren't you?
And do their best.
Mm-hmm. All right, so after it calls Watchmen a hit and says that Henry, the writer, wrote the episode, if you don't like my story, write your own. Where did we hear that before?
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Yep. Trust me, people didn't buy her book.
Yeah. And I love that. I love how they do that. That one woman who made Harley Quinn movie and crap, and her is just, it's not made for men, or don't buy my book. And then when nobody buys their book or watches their movie, they're all like, what happened? I don't understand where these books aren't selling and nobody came to my movie.
Buy my book, please.
Yeah, you can't be that unself-aware. You know what you said. Come on.
All right, so the article continues to say, James Gunn would executive produce, along with Peter Safran. Warner Brothers Television will produce. Reps for Davis, HBO Max, and WBTV declined to comment. Reps for Henry did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. This would be the latest TV starring role for Davis, who is one of the most acclaimed actresses of modern times. She's a very good actress.
Yeah, she did a good job in the movies.
Excuse me. Yeah, she did.
I can't tell you what else she's been in. I know I've seen her before, but her litany of work is escaping my brain. So,
and the article says she won. Oh, excuse me again. I don't know why I'm coughing a lot tonight. Probably allergies.
Could be
the way the weather's been around here.
Yeah, it's the beginning of summer, so yeah, allergies is a good excuse.
All right, it goes on to say she won widespread praise and an Emmy Award out of 4 nominations for her starring role in the ABC drama series How to Get Away with Murder. She also picked up an Emmy nod for Best Guest Actress in a Drama Series when she guest starred on Scandal and crossover episode. She currently stars in the Showtime limited series The First Lady as Michelle Obama. Davis is also a 4-time Oscar nominee, winning the award for Best Supporting Actress in 2017 for Fences. She was previously nominated for her work in the films Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I've heard of that. I haven't watched it yet. The Help and Doubt. Davis is repped by CAA Lasher Group, Richard Grossman. I don't really care about that. I'm going to move on. In addition to her appearances on Peacemaker, Davis has played Waller in both the Suicide Squad films. It comes as little surprise that Warner Brothers is looking to do another spin-off series besides Peacemaker, given the success of the 2021 film and the series. The film received mostly positive reviews from fans and critics, in addition to grossing over $167 million worldwide. It was released on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously. Though HBO Max does not provide viewership numbers, they claim the film had the second most viewed opening weekend of any film that launched simultaneously on the platform. Peacemaker, meanwhile, debuted in January with an 8-episode first season. The show, which stars John Cena in the title role, also got strong praise upon its release. Suicide Squad writer and director Gunn returned to write and direct on the series as well. It was renewed for a second season in February. Warner Brothers has been working for some time now to build out TV projects that tie into the DC film universe as well as other properties. To that end, a spin-off of The Batman starring Colin Farrell as Penguin is on the way. Excuse me. While there are also prequel shows that tie into both the Dune franchise. Excuse me. Let me get a sip of water. All right, there we go. And It horror films in the works. Well, the only thing I could say is I will watch the first episode and go from there. I'm getting to the point where it doesn't matter who's starring in a series, and even if it's a spinoff of something else, where I'm being extremely cautious as to whether or not I'm going to give it high praise off the bat, even before I've seen a single episode, because of what we've been given before.
Yeah, there ain't no need. They don't deserve it.
No.
I gotta well, what kind of show is this going to be, though? That's what I gotta wonder. I know what kind of show Peacemaker is and what Suicide Squad was, and I know her role in it. So what in the world could this actually be about other than like another?
It's going to be a
Squad
show where she sends other criminals on missions where, she'll detonate the bomb that's in their head.
Yeah. I see it very limited. I don't know, we'll find out though.
We will. All in due time. All right. So the next story I'm gonna move on to is from Superhero Hype. We'll share the link to that article. And it's talking about legendary comic book artist George Perez passing away. He's the second comic book artist to pass away within a matter of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Never good. It's never good.
No, it's never good to lose great artists, and you can see their great work in many issues of DC or Marvel comics that they were a part of, especially when you compare to what you see now in comics.
Yeah. These guys were pioneers. They were the greats. And you know, I don't read modern comics. I've seen some of the junk that they put out. It's just it's a shame. I mean, what they've done to Marvel and DC.
Yeah, and it explains why the sales have been the way they've been.
Yeah.
Because the stories aren't good. Just like watching TV shows and movies, the stories aren't good. So fans are turning away. All right, so this article is by Blair Marnell, and it was posted Saturday on the 7th. And it says legendary comic book artist George Perez passes away. Last December, comic book artist George Perez announced that he had been diagnosed with inoperable pancreatic cancer. Rather than prolong the inevitable, Perez and his wife Carol decided to forego additional treatment in order to enjoy their remaining time together. Yesterday, the time came to an end. Perez passed away at the age of 67, just over 1 month shy of his 68th birthday. In a statement, a friend of the Perez family wrote, George passed away yesterday peacefully at his home with his wife of 490 months and family by his side. He was not in pain and knew he was very, very loved. We are all very much grieving, but at the same time, we are so incredibly grateful for the joy he brought to our lives. He loved all of you. He loved hearing your post and seeing the drawings you sent and the tributes you made. He was deeply proud to have brought so much joy to so many. That's a picture of him and his wife. Perez was born in New York on June 9th, 1954, and began drawing at only 5 years old, with a desire to become an artist. Over the years, Perez honed a realistic style and incredible ability to bring detail to his illustrations. In 1974, he broke into the industry with Marvel's Astonishing Tales number 25. From there, Perez was one of the primary artists of Marvel's Kung Fu craze, with a stint on Sons of the Tiger in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. He and writer Bill Mantlo also created Marvel's first Puerto Rican superhero, White Tiger. See, they created their own characters.
Yeah.
They didn't just take an established character and change that character's ethnicity and gender. They created their own.
Because they were
However,
creative.
They had an imagination.
Yeah.
However, Perez's first breakout run came on the Avengers in the late 70s and early 80s. Perez established himself as one of the best artists that had ever been on the book. Alongside writers Jim Shooter and David Michelin, Perez's stint on the Avengers made him one of the most popular superstars in the industry. I mean, this is an example of his artwork for DC. And look at all the detail.
Yep.
That's one thing I always appreciated. That's one thing I, would always put in my drawings when I was growing up. It's a lot of detail. I even had a teacher say to me, "You put a lot of detail in your work." Because I'll admit it, I'm detail oriented. If I feel I can add more detail, I'll do it.
Yeah. And a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but some people go overboard, but some people don't do enough. You got to find that balance. But I think um, I'd like to look at some of his stuff for early, or later years. But his early stuff. A lot of those guys in the early days, they kept it simple. They kept it
Mhm.
good form. Um, uh, they didn't overdo. I mean, look at these. Look at these girls. There's not a ton of um, like shading and busy scratches everywhere. Except this hand here. Um, these guys look really good in the detail that they are, but everybody else is just subtle. It's subtle. It's good detail, and it works. It works really well.
Yeah, it
And
does.
even I watch David Finch, his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He does like Monday night streams and stuff, and he'll even get onto himself for putting too much detail in his work. And his wife, his wife gets onto him for it too. So you just have to be careful when when you're drawing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is
And
so good.
yeah, I mean, I can remember whether it was going into the grocery store, comic book shop, and looking at the various covers, even for the Star Trek comics and Star Wars comics, and just the subtle detail. That's what it was, subtle detail.
Yeah. And it got more detailed over the years. Other artists, and some of it got sloppy. And I've noticed. I'm a Jim Lee fan,
Mhm.
but he has good form, except for feet. He's not really good at feet, but um, he's not very detailed, or he's detailed, but he's not the way he does shadows and detail in that respect. He's very quick and I don't want to say sloppy, but um, I don't really know the word for it, but he's not refined, I guess.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks rushed.
yeah,
I bet.
some of the shading looks rusty. His rendering looks rusty or quit or rushed. I'll put it that way. Yeah. And then you got like Rob Liefeld. I hate his artwork. It's so dirty. It's and everybody looks the same. To me, Rob Liefeld was not a good artist. I never did like his work. I didn't read his books either.
Yep,
But
quick and dirty. That
quick
perfectly
and dirty.
describes it.
Yep.
The article goes on to say Perez was so prolific that he started working for DC Comics while he was still on the Avengers. His skills made him a natural fit for DC's Justice League of America series. Regardless, Perez rose to even greater fame alongside writer Marv Wolfman on the New Teen Titans. Wolfman and Perez put together the definitive run on that title and established Dick Grayson's transition from Robin into Nightwing. They also co-created Raven, Starfire, Cyborg, Deathstroke, Jericho, and numerous other characters. Goes on to say, in 1985, Wolfman and Perez collaborated on a 12-part crossover miniseries, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This was a story that was designed to simplify DC's convoluted continuity. And during the series, the Flash, Barry Allen, Supergirl, and other heroes gave their lives to save the universe. It also led to one of Perez's most memorable covers. I mean, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolute perfection. And even the characters in the background.
Yeah, that's the background. See, I'm an artist too, and doing backgrounds is not my forte. So it just bugs the crap out of me when I do a picture and I got nothing for the background. I wish I was better. Look at that thing. That is so freaking awesome. You had to sit there and
Mhm.
draw all those characters. That's awesome right there.
Yeah. I love looking at it.
Yep.
Because afterwards, Perez was given the opportunity to write and illustrate DC's Wonder Woman reboot. It was a complete modern modernization of the Amazon heroine, as Perez added new characters to Diana's mythos, including the new Cheetah, Barbara Minerva. Although Perez stepped down as the artist after 2 years, he remained on board as the writer for an additional 3 years. And look at that. I mean,
She's pretty.
yeah, I could definitely see his artwork if it was used on, you know, a World War II bomber as the nose art. You could
Oh
see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, buddy. He can paint me a pinup girl any day of the week.
Yeah. Also goes on to say Perez returned to Marvel in 1991 to work on Infinity Gauntlet with writer Jim Starlin. This was a story that inspired Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Unfortunately, Perez was unable to finish the miniseries himself due to a scheduling issue.
Yeah, I read that. I got that book, man. I read those. Those are freaking awesome books.
And the nice thing that you see looking at these various covers, whether it's his work with DC or his work with Marvel, you can see the evolution of his art
Yeah,
and his style. It
you never
doesn't
stop
remain the
learning.
same. Yeah. Gosh, this is beautiful. And I'm saying that as someone who to this day still likes to draw.
Yep. Man with a legend.
Yes, he was. In 1998, Perez made his triumphant return to the Avengers alongside writer Kurt Busiek. Perez's 3 year stint on the title once again elevated the Avengers into one of Marvel's top selling books. It also revived talk of Perez's dream project, a crossover between the Avengers and the Justice League. Perez and writer Gary Conway had previously been assigned to work on that project in 1981. However, disagreements with Marvel and DC killed the crossover for over 2 decades. A new deal was reached in 2002 that allowed Busiek and Perez to make Justice League Avengers a reality. The 4 issue crossover was released in 2003 and 2004. And Woopa Troopa says he has returned.
Whoopa!
And Input says suddenly Woopa.
He is suddenly. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Again, his art just kept evolving. I love looking at this. I would love to have this print framed and up on my wall.
That'd be a good one to have. Really,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta wonder how much time this takes. It boggles my mind. I could sit there and watch David Finch do a picture in one night, and most of it's done with inks, you know. And I'm over here working on this little drawing for like a week now. there ain't no inks. These guys are master craftsmen when it comes to this stuff, and I envy every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't even draw nearly as good as this.
No, I'm not. I'm not there. I'm slow. I get, you gotta know your anatomy. I'm always looking at. I know they do reference and stuff, and they look at other stuff, and they probably got little figures to do poses and things like that, which I don't have. I always wanted to buy one of those, but all the ones on Amazon are terrible. But they're so we call it seasoned, experienced, that probably a lot of times they don't even have to do all that stuff, and they can just sit there and just sketch out, this Batman, this Captain America, just by memory, and get it mostly right the first time. Maybe change a little few things here and there, but yeah, that's what I'd love to be that at that level. That'd be great.
Excuse me. Yeah, I would too. I mean, again, all this work, all this detail in this cover alone.
Yeah.
I would love to have known how long it took him to start with the original rough draft sketch before they got to ink and then color.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. That would have took me 2 years. It probably took him a month.
This article also goes on to say Perez also had a slightly publicized stint at CrossGen as the artist of CrossGen Chronicles and Souls. He also had the co-chairman of he was also the co-chairman of the Hero Infinitive, a charity dedicated to helping veteran comic book creators who had fallen on hard times. In 2011, Perez relaunched Superman for DC's New 52 reboot alongside artists Jesus Marino and Nicola Scott. Regardless, Perez left the book soon after over creative issues with DC.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because DC probably wanted to go with one art style and he wanted to stick with his art style. I mean,
They want to inject things that shouldn't have been there. Had too much control over the story, or how it was made.
I mean, again, look at this cover right here. Superman in great detail. You have the Daily Planet sign crumbling around him. And then the flames.
Yep. They put a lot more work into their covers too. You gotta remember that. If you'll notice, most of the covers are very detailed, very next level, I guess. Then if you look inside the book, it's not as good a quality, basically, because they have to hurry. They got to get a page out every day or every other day, and they got deadlines. So, and they have their tricks to get panels out faster than just drawing like something like this for every page. So The quality drops inside the book than than the cover, but that's just the way it is. That's how it's got to be.
You'll get this nice, beautiful cover, and on the inside, again, it's just the way things are.
Yep.
But the story, as long as the story is a good story and it's told well, you don't care what the artwork looks like. You're invested in that story.
Right. Yeah. As long as that story was good, man, the artwork was just there to facilitate the good writing, the good story.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can tell even if when the artwork's crappy all around, it does hinder the story. I mean, you need the eye candy for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've read some comic books that had some really crappy art, and it really takes away. But both are equally as important, or not equally as important. Both are important, but I think a good story is a little bit above great artwork.
Mm-hmm. And the article looks like it finishes off by saying Boom Studios published Perez's final creator-owned series, Sirens, in 2014. In 2019, Perez announced that he was retiring from the industry due to his declining health. Perez's memorial service will be held on Sunday, May 22nd at MegaCon Orlando. Details about the service will be announced later, but all fans at MegaCon are welcome to attend. Superhero Hype extends its condolences to Perez's family, friends, and fans all over the world, as do I.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's people like Mr. Perez who inspire the imagination of young kids who are reading these comics for the first time. Even adults, are invested because of the artwork that accompanies the story.
Yep.
And yes, you said it right there importantly. See, art draws you in, story keeps you in. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next article. And this is actually related to the new Kurtzman Star Trek spinoff series. And I want to clarify it's Kurtzman Trek.
Oh, it's
So you pretty much know what you get with Kurtzman Trek. But Strange New Worlds. Anson Mount defends inclusion of January 6th footage in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Part of Star Trek is staying relevant without preaching.
no. This is bounding into comics.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'll misread. Oh, Anson Mount said that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bull crap.
They would anecdotally talk about what's going on, but they wouldn't force their side upon its audience. They would let the audience decide at the end. It's like controversial opinion. I think Picard should have died at the end of Best of Both Worlds. That's just my opinion.
And you're entitled to it.
Yep. I think while the Borg cube was exploding, and since Picard was gyrating during that explosion, it should have killed him because he was connected to the hive mind.
Yeah.
All right. This is from John F. Trent, and it was published on May 9th. It says Star Trek Strange New Worlds actor Anson Mount defended the inclusion of footage from protests at the United States Capitol on January 6th that was recently used in the newest Star Trek series. Now, before I continue on, there was an episode of Enterprise. I think the episode was called Shockwave. It's been a while since I've watched it, But when Captain Archer and Time Agent Daniels are talking about the timeline and the timeline's being restored, spoilers, by the way, you do see footage of the Twin Towers from 9/11, but they used it in reference of time. And they didn't just focus on it, they just showed it. It was there for a few seconds and it was gone.
They didn't use it as a hammer to put a point across
No, they didn't.
like they did in Strange New Worlds.
And let's see. Input latency says not to get hyper political, but yeah, that's absurd. It is. Okay, so it goes on to say the footage was included in a montage played by Mount's Captain Pike to the residents of Kylie 279 that had weaponized warp technology and were using it to put down numerous rebel groups. You mean matter, antimatter explosions? Just have a warp core breach and boom.
Yeah.
Pike presents the footage in order to sway the residents of Kylie to abandon their current tactics as well as join the Federation. He says, I've seen my future. Let me show you yours. He then brings up a presentation that includes footage of the January 6th protesters, saying our conflict also started with a fight for freedoms. We called it the Second Civil War, then the Eugenics War, and finally just World War III.
See, I love how he just blends that in together.
Mm-hmm.
A fight for freedoms, and then the eugenics wars, like they were all part of the same thing. And let me ask you this: which political side or ideology loves eugenics?
Yes.
Yeah, not the people who were at the White House or the Capitol building or whatever on January 6th. It ain't them. So if we have a eugenics wars, which that's Star Trek. It won't be started by the protesters on January 6th.
No. And speaking of the eugenics wars, I got a clip here I'm going to go ahead and play.
I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
Best Star Trek movie ever.
Mm-hmm. Star Trek The Wrath of Khan is number 1 in my opinion, while The Undiscovered Country is number 2.
Agreed.
It says in the article, he continues, this was our last day, the day the Earth we knew ceased to exist. What began as an eruption in one nation ended in the eradication of 600,000 species of animals and plants and 30% of Earth's population. Global suicide, Pike asserts. What we gave you is the means to exterminate yourselves. And from the looks of you, you're going to do it. You will use competing ideas of liberty to bomb each other out of the rubble, just like we did. And your last day will look just like this. Perhaps somewhere all your ends are written somewhere as indelibly as mine. Pike says, but I choose to believe that your destinies are still your own. Maybe that's why I'm here, to remind you of the power of possibility. Maybe that's the good in seeing my future, that I might remind you that right up until the very end, life is to be worn gloriously. because until our last moment, the future is what we make it. So go to war with each other or join the Federation of planets and reach the stars. Reach for the stars. The choice is yours. So basically, he threatens them. He says, go to war or join the Federation. When in other Star Trek series, they wouldn't even make contact with pre-warp civilizations. They would wait till the civilization had established warp travel. They would make first contact. And then after establishing first contact, that planet would then be evaluated.
Yeah,
As
they'll have to do a lot of changing their ways. They've only developed warp technology for bomb making. They have zero clue how to make it into a engine. So how many decades or centuries is that going to take? And all the meanwhile, yeah, maybe they'll put down their bombs, but chances are, you have to change the hearts and minds of people. You can't just say, "Oh, if we keep doing this, we're all going to blow up," and you're not going to just turn it off like a faucet. You have to change internally over time, and but with Kurtzman Trek, everything can happen in a day.
Mm-hmm. After all, from what I've heard about this first episode, the reason why this species even has warp technology is all because of a telescope.
Yeah, and it's another tell don't show, because they didn't really say what they were doing with the warp technology. They're making bombs, but how, they didn't say how that even works. And then they said they detected the warp signatures of all those ships from a discovery episode, and they didn't really explain how they were able to develop warp technology just like with that. I mean, a lot of this stuff is pretty far-fetched, just magical writing
instead of actually being based in science like the original series was, and Next Generation and DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise.
Yeah,
were based on actual science.
You can get fantastical with some of this in to a point. There has to be rules set up in this, in your universe to constrain you from going, overboard and just off into la la land. And Kurtzman doesn't have that. He doesn't have the rules. He threw the rule book out, and it makes for crappy Trek.
Mm-hmm. It's like hearing people who have reviewed the first episode where the one character Pike is with in his house in Montana calls the communicator the phone. It's like, wait a minute. If she's supposed to be a Starfleet officer, she would very well know, just like Pike, that that's a communicator.
I laughed. I was like, when's the last time these people have ever seen a telephone?
On the holodeck.
Not even that. I mean, they didn't have holodecks then, did they?
No.
No, they didn't. So there's no holodecks. Phones haven't been a thing. The very word in the vernacular hasn't been a thing in I don't even know how, 100, 200 years. And just casually, oh, your phone's ringing. No, stop it. That's the amateurish bull crap we get from writers. They only know how to speak now. They can't figure out how to formulate dialogue for another century that has nothing to do with ours.
Yeah.
So that's why Discovery, in the first 3 episodes, you hear the F word every 5 seconds. It makes no sense. They're supposed to be evolved. They're supposed to be, enlightened. And all of a sudden now, we haven't heard a curse word hardly in Trek since the beginning. And all of a sudden now they're just F wording it up. Just, screw off.
I couldn't have said that better myself. It says Mount defended the inclusion of the footage in a recent interview with the Hollywood Reporter that was conducted before the premiere of Strange New Worlds, or the same narcissistic woke garbage as I like to think of it as.
Yes.
The Hollywood Reporter's Ryan Parker asked, one surprising moment is when Captain Pike shows footage of the breaking point just before mankind nearly destroyed itself in World War III, which implied the January 6, 2021 insurrection had some part in the devastating collapse. How did you feel about that being included, knowing it will make some uncomfortable? Mount answered, I hope it does. We knew we wanted to go there. Well, of course you do. That's all you focused on.
And where else will you go?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go there? What's next? Your gay pilot or your shaved head Uhura, body positive Uhura? When are you gonna start making episodes? Around that, because they're going to.
Yeah, they are.
They have to put it out there. It's not like if they went through this entire season with that pilot sitting there with her shaved head and obviously a homosexual and said nothing about it, I would eat my freaking hat. But we
know it's Kurtzman trick. We know what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're not gonna let it sit. They're gonna have to bring it up, make a story about it, make her stunning and brave, and turn her into a dude or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and Input Lane C puts up this great quote. We're angering the correct people, bruh.
Yeah, the correct people.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they're angering the correct people. It's the people with common sense who are going, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah, the ones that we knew for a fact that January 6th was not an insurrection. If it was an insurrection, it was the worst insurrection ever plotted by a human being in the history of the world. Not one person up there had a gun. You can't perform an insurrection without weapons. Everybody was there walking in, being let in by security and just waving them in. And they were walking around taking pictures. It was a freaking tourist day there, except for the handful of people who did some damage outside trying to get in. It's just, and those people should be punished for the damage and the stuff like that. But the only people who died were the protester and the cops who had nothing. They died for unrelated reasons. So they lie through their teeth. They pushing the narrative, controlling the message, and then Hollywood regurgitates it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Hollywood. You suck.
That they do. And the article continues with the interview by saying, he continued, whenever you want to take a big swing on TV, the question is, are the bosses going to be okay? And I've got to tell you, we're taking a lot of big swings on this show. Well, that is good. Pretty much say right then and there in that quote, it's the same Kurtzman crap, just a different label on it. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I got to say, at this point, I'm not surprised.
They don't have to ask the question anymore. This is their default. They're actually being told to do this stuff. It's not, hey, we got this idea for an episode. We're going to kind of poke the bear a little bit politically. And you think it would be okay? Can we get away with this? No. It's the boss is coming to them saying, hey, we're doing this and put it in the show. They don't have to. That's a load of crap. He's putting, he's acting like it's just like couple people trying to do stuff and don't know if they can get away with it. It's horse crap.
I know I have to be careful, but I am just reading an article. And if YouTube has a problem with me reading the article, well, that's their problem. That's how I look at it. If they have a problem, it's their problem. It's not my problem. It's theirs.
Yeah, I'm not suicidal, by the way. Anybody? I'm happy. Well, just a man.
I'm happy. I'm happy too. It's just that when it comes to my entertainment, that's what I want, to be entertained.
I'm just saying about about the Clintons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. I could go on a tangent about the Clintons, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, we'll stick with Star Trek. That's enough to burn us alive anyway.
Yep. And it goes on to say CBS, Paramount Plus, Secret Hideout, and Roddenberry Entertainment, they got immediately what they were trying to do and allowed us to take a very big swing there. And it just shows that they understand what they're trying to do and that they get Star Trek. No, they don't. They don't get Star Trek.
No.
Rod Roddenberry doesn't get Star Trek. He may be the son of Gene Roddenberry, but that doesn't mean he understands Gene Roddenberry's vision just because he's his son.
No. Ron Reagan was Ronald Reagan's son. He did not get his vision. There's a father son, doesn't matter. It's sometimes the nut falls pretty far from the tree.
And the article continues by saying he concluded part of Star Trek is staying relevant without preaching. And I think we did exactly that. No, that's all Kurtzman Trek does is preach and talk down to its audience.
Yeah. So
and alienate its longtime fans.
So automatically, he's lying through his teeth.
Yeah.
You can't look at Star Trek and not say it's not say it's not preachy. You can't. It's like looking at the sky and saying it's green. Look at the green sky. No, it's blue.
I say it's blue.
It's freaking blue. These people are mind-boggling. I'm not even going to
read the rest of this article. It's like these people, they don't have any sense of reality. I know we all know that, but they don't. And they prove it in these articles with these quotes. They don't know what the real world is.
I don't know if it comes from a God complex of some sort that these people get while they're in Hollywood, and they, whatever they say, they can speak things into existence and everybody will believe them. Half, a fraction of the people do believe them whenever they say, they don't bother looking into, the facts of the matter, but they have to have some sort of mental complex being where they are and doing what they do. And that goes for politicians in the media also, because they regurgitate lies and bull crap constantly, thinking that people will believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And let's see. Input says, I think Gary from Neurotic said that, yeah, all these people want to use their parents' stuff, but go about it in their own way, i.e. completely deconstruct what the entire thing was about. Yeah, that's exactly what Rod Roddenberry and everybody that's behind the current Star Trek is doing.
Yeah. They want to make it their own. They want to put their name on it. They want to take somebody else's stuff and put their name on it. Look what I did. But what they do is garbage. It's like a kid going outside and standing in front of their dad's brand new freaking, Corvette or something, and scratching his name in it and saying, "Hey, look what I did! Isn't it great?"
No,
That's exactly
son,
what
you
they're
just
doing.
scrapped up my Corvette.
You screwed up my vet, kid. They need punishment. They need a
You
good
can't punish
spanking.
kids. Oh, no. You can't spank them nowadays.
Spank them hard.
Spank them hard, sweetheart.
That's right. Yeah, they need it. Kid, they're they're children. They need it. They need a good spanking.
No, we all need to know when we're out of line,
Yeah,
whether
and
we're
they don't,
kids or adults.
yeah, and they don't get that. They don't get that where they're at. There's a lot of people in Hollywood that never got their butts kicked.
Mm-hmm. The moment they started crying, they got that toy they wanted when they were at the store with their mom or dad,
Yep.
Or-
When they
or both.
throw a fit, give them something to appease them.
Mm-hmm.
Give them trophies. This is the trophy crowd who got participation trophies. This is all they are. Told that they were awesome and they could do anything, and when most of them can't. Most of them shouldn't have went to Hollywood, shouldn't have went to college, should have just went to Burger King for a while.
Mm-hmm. Worked for a living.
Yeah, get a real job. Know what it is to work hard and struggle. They don't. Yeah, that's another thing. They've never struggled. They have no clue.
Nope. None. All right. So our next article here from Geek Tyrant says the directors of the Masters of the Universe discussed their approach to the film adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after what we saw with the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe, I'm not that interested in seeing another Masters of the Universe movie. Say what you will about the one with Dolph Lundgren, but at least I can still watch it.
Yeah, it wasn't good Masters of the Universe, but it wasn't just garbage Masters of the Universe. There's a big difference. The Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe or He-Man was just garbage. And Netflix is no or they're not known for adapting cartoons to movies very well. So
No. And this is another Netflix production, so that's another reason I don't have any high hopes.
Nope. You put the word Netflix in front of it, it's just I don't know about this.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
All right. So the article says Netflix is producing a live action adaptation of the classic 80s toy line and cartoon series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The film is being helmed by Adam and Aaron Nee, The Lost City. And like the rest of the He-Man fans out there, I'm curious to see how they will bring the Masters of the Universe movie to life. Well, during a recent interview with Screen Rant, they talked about their approach to handling the material and the importance of doing it right and making sure the audience is invested in Eternia. And it's so important to us that we don't shortchange this material. This is a huge movie, but it feels like it's our baby. It feels like we've got the kind of closeness and affection that we would have for an indie project. It's so important to us that we get to take the audience to Eternia in the right way, where it feels like a rich, well-developed, real place, like you're going to a real world and experiencing a real culture. Then also just having the kind of attention to detail for the adventure elements and all those things, and the costuming and the build time for all those things. Nothing is rushed. It's being done right. Adam and Eve said that they hope they are able to capture the fun and color and bright and vibrance and empowerment that it gave little kids. It's also explained that they are treating the film as an origin story. West Side Story actor Kyle Allen is taking on the role of He-Man, and his role is described as an orphan named Adam. Well, there again, I've said this before when I first saw an article several weeks back about a Masters of the Universe live action film when they called Adam an orphan. When he wasn't an orphan, he was a legitimate son of King Randor and Queen Marlena. So already they're going against He-Man and Adam's origin by saying that Adam's an orphan. He's not an orphan.
No. This guy doesn't look like Adam, that's for sure.
No. But anyways, it describes him as an orphan who discovers he's a prince destined to be the savior of a faraway land. He must quickly learn of his power and the importance of saving his true home from an evil force. Aaron Nee previously shared that they want to keep things wild and crazy like the original animated series, and likened the film they are making to Marvel's Thor Ragnarok. Goes on to say it's a wild, crazy property, and we wanted to keep it wild and crazy. Like you had just wacky characters, but what we also wanted to keep is that what it is to experience those toys and those cartoons as kids. Whereas kids, we took it completely seriously and trying to tap into what it was that it was making us feel then, that empowerment that made us feel, and that sort of wide-eyed wonder of the incredible things that can happen and the incredible worlds that you can encounter. And so we want that wildness, but also the sort of reverence and love for it that we saw it with through the filter of our child eyes. Those things, Masters of the Universe properties, weren't just huge successes because of clever marketing or something like that. It was tapping into something primal, something fundamental about us kids. Whether the creators did it accidentally or out of brilliance doesn't matter. It was tapping into something. It was, and that's what we are trying to hold onto, is what was the sparking inside of us as kids. And so we went to that at its core, that very basic human connection that we were feeling while not going. We're grown-ups now, so we can't really have a character named Ram Man. Yeah, we can. We can.
Why can't what? Why can't we have Fisto?
We can, because that's the character's name. It's like if they really wanted to, they could have a Transformers movie where, get this, Megatron transforms into a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to read. Oh, good. There's
No,
really
you
not
don't
much.
have to.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so you're supposedly going to pay attention and honor the legacy of the franchise that you're writing this movie for, but then you start spouting off and saying we can't have a character like Ram Man, we can't have this, we can't have that. Well, then guess what? As the curator and the custodian of the property, you're not doing the property justice. You're not honoring it for what it is.
No. Done came out of the gate all wrong. It's just you're not you've signaled that you're not going to honor the lore, the everything that makes the show what it is. I mean, the guy you picked to be Adam, I don't know. I guess they're gonna have to get a different guy to be He-Man, which is fine. But the guy that picked to be Adam doesn't look the part. I mean, basically, Adam was He-Man without the loincloth. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, they all have to do that different, but still, they don't have to make him a 98-pound, sack of crap that they're going to make him a weakling. Obviously, they're going to do what they did to him in Kevin Smith's um, He-Man show.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know.
It's just another reason to skip a Netflix property.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a basic Netflix property. Every cartoon that they want that they make live action is just god awful, and
Mhm.
they'll never learn.
Never.
And always be aware, always be wary of people who doing these things that come out. We're going to respect the lore, and we're going to, you know, keep true to the story and keep true to the heart of whatever we're doing, because 98% of the time that's complete bullcrap.
Yep.
They said that with Transformers, and look where it went.
I mean, I'll admit it. I went and saw the first one, and the moment, and I've said this before, the moment I heard Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, the first thought that came into my head was Optimus.
Yeah, he is Optimus.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it without him.
No. I mean,
But they changed everything.
yeah, they did.
They changed everything.
I mean, the sad thing is that also came from Michael Bay, and one of the writers, along with Robert Orsi, was Alex Kurtzman. And in the special features, they're talking about, well, we can't have mass shifting because that wouldn't work. I'm thinking these are alien robots from another planet in the galaxy. Their technology would be superior to ours. Of course, they can have mass shifting. Why? Because it works in Transformers.
It's not even that. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Personalities are different. The only one that they got to be a voice for the movie is Peter Cullen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no Ironhide wasn't the same. Jazz was different. Megatron was different. All of them are just Starscream was what they did to Starscream was just abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that freaking version of Starscream. Starscream was such a great character, and they tossed him in the garbage and said, "Look at our new Starscream." Boring.
Well, it's like Michael Bay for the first movie says that Frank Welker's voice as Megatron wouldn't work for their iteration. And then what does he do? He brings in Frank Welker not only to voice Soundwave in the second Transformers movie, but in the two latter Transformers movies, he brings in Frank Welker to voice Megatron, aka Galvatron,
Yeah.
in the fourth Transformers movie, and then for some reason, which is never explained, Galvatron goes back to being called Megatron. But still, it's Frank Welker doing the voice.
That fourth movie was such a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And they put God, at the end, I just couldn't believe they put Unicron on Earth.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's like, is that Unicron inside the Earth? Oh my God. Are you guys retarded?
Yep. Instead of having him like he was in the 86 movie, which let's go ahead and play a clip from the 86 movie.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
of having Unicron come from the deep dark reaches of space
Yeah.
to attack Earth.
An impending
They go-
doom coming.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to pull that off when he's inside the Earth? Is he going to be like, 50 foot tall instead of an entire planet, or are you going to destroy the Earth? And, they didn't. I don't think they thought it through. That's why there's not a Transformers 5.
Nope. But moving on from that, because it'll just give us both headaches.
Yeah.
This last article I have for tonight comes from Bounding into Comics, and it's by John F. Trent. It was posted yesterday, and it says Dragon Ball Super Superhero North American release window announced. Crunchyroll and Toei Animation announced they will be releasing the next installment of Dragon Ball Super into theaters this August in North America with Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Dragon Ball Super Superhero sees the return of the Red Ribbon Army, who has created a new pair of androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. The official synopsis reads, the Red Ribbon Army was once destroyed by Son Goku. Individuals who carry on its spirit have created the ultimate androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. These two androids call themselves superheroes. They start attacking Piccolo and Gohan. What is the new Red Ribbon Army's objective? In the face of approaching danger, it's time to awaken superhero. The film will be the first international release for Crunchyroll, who will be distributing the film in North America. They are teaming up with Sony Pictures Entertainment to distribute the film internationally, including in Latin America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, and the Middle East, and Asia, except for Japan. The film will be released with both Japanese subtitles and dubbed versions. Dragon Ball Super Superhero is the second film in the Dragon Ball Super franchise. The first film, Dragon Ball Super Broly, hit theaters back in 2018 and grossed $30.3 million at the domestic box office and over $122.7 million globally. At the time of its release, it was the third highest grossing anime in North America ever, only being surpassed by Pokemon, the first movie, which ranked in $85.7 million back in 1999, and Pokemon 2000, which hauled in $43.7 million domestically. The film has since been surpassed by Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train, which hauled in $47.7 million in 2021, and Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie, which grossed $33.9 million. Dragon Ball Super Superhero sees Dragon Ball's original creator, Akira Toriyama, heavily involved in the development of the film as he worked on the film's original story, its screenplay, and the film's character design. The movie is directed by Tetsuro Kodama and features the Japanese voice work of Masako Nozawa as Gohan, Goku, and Goten, Toshio Furuwaka, and again,
I don't look here anymore.
I apologize. I'm trying. It's not easy. As Piccolo, Yuku Minaguchi as Pan, Ryo Horikawa as Vegeta, and Mayumi Tanaka as Krillin, Aya Hishikawa as Bulma, and Takeshi Kasua as Trunks, and Miki Ito as Android 18. And I don't think I'm going to read the rest of these names because I'm probably going to end up butchering them. I'm doing it for you guys too, so you don't have to keep hearing me butcher the names.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. In a press release, Crunchyroll promised they would announce the English voice cast at a future date. Crunchyroll president Ro Perini shared his excitement for the film, saying, "For more than 30 years," and there's an ad because it's bound in the comics. And let's see, input latency says Rebel Army was the name of the guild I ran with on World of Warcraft a few years back. Huh. Goes on to say, I knew it was from Dragon Ball, but like still. He also says, yeah, not really a Dragon Ball person in general, nothing against it, just not interested. I'm not a Dragon Ball person either, but I figure because I do try to cover at least one anime story in Pop Talk, there are a lot of Dragon Ball fans out there, so I figured I would talk about it. Hope it's good for the fans' sake. If nothing else, more good content is good. Other breaking news, water is wet. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so goes on to say for more than 30 years, the Dragon Ball franchise has delighted. You know what? Found in the comics, fix this. I just got through one
Doing that
ad.
again.
Yeah, it's doing it again. It's doing it again, and I don't even have an appropriate clip to play. Well, actually, I do.
Like a panther. Yes.
Jeez.
All right.
I didn't watch it.
So, anyways, it says for more than 30 years, the Dragon Ball franchise has delighted fans around the globe who have followed the world's greatest warriors to defend Earth from forces of evil. We're thrilled to partner with Toei Animation to bring fans the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super to the legion of super fans eager to continue the adventures and to grow the anime audiences who are discovering it for the first time, he added. While Crunchyroll detailed the film will release in August, they did not provide a specific release date. It will release on June 11th in Japan. It originally was scheduled to release in March in Japan, but was delayed after Toei Animation became the victim of a cyber hack. And do I plan on checking out Dragon Ball Superhero in theaters in August? Probably not. To be perfectly honest, probably not. I'll probably wait for it to come on to a streaming service where I can watch it, or if somebody wants to show it to me, fine, they can show it to me. But I probably won't actually go to the theaters and pay money to go see it because I'm not a big Dragon Ball fan, so I really have no reason.
Nah, neither was I. I've seen some episodes back in the day, and it just seemed a little bit over the top for me, for my tastes.
Yeah. And,
But,
that was the thing about it. People can like it. But for me, it was that over the top that kind of turned me off about it.
Yeah. And that's fine. People like it. My kid liked Dragon Ball a little bit. I mean, he wasn't a fanatic or nothing, but that's fine.
I have friends who like it. They'll talk about it, and you can hear their passion as they're talking about it, and that's a good thing.
Yep. And if they do this right, they do do honor to it, I guess. The first one made quite a bit of money, it sounds like. So more power to you. Enjoy, because God knows you need it. You deserve it.
Yes. Go out there, find things to enjoy, whether it's new or whether, it came out 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, however long ago. There's something out there for everybody to enjoy. There's still entertainment out there to be enjoyed. You just have to look for it.
Yep. And don't be afraid of where it comes from, I guess.
Yeah.
South Korea is doing a lot of stuff people like, so give it a shot. I'm not much for having to read dubs or read subtitles, but I'll do what I have to if it's good.
Same here. I mean, word of mouth. It
Yeah.
still works. Word of mouth will tell you whether something is good or whether something is not even worth giving any moment of your time to.
Yep.
So, on that note, Anonymous, I want to thank you for coming on the panel today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I have fun. I'll get on when I can, and rant at the world if we if we have to.
And I do want to let everybody know that there will not be a Sunday edition of Pacific 414 Pop Talk. And the main reason why is because this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I am having a collector stream and I have some guests lined up for that stream, and it's going to be a good time. It's actually going to be the second one that I've done here on the channel. The first one I did back in March, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. And people were asking me, when is the next one going to be? And I thought about it, and I decided that on May 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern is the second one.
Cool. What do you talk about?
Oh, I'm going to have people come on, and they're allowed to show their collections. And if they don't want to be on camera and show their collections, they can talk about what they have in their collection.
Cool, man. You know how nerds are.
Yeah.
We love to show off our stuff.
Yeah, we do. We do. But we're not afraid of it either.
No. And, I'm not a giant collector of. I got my comic books. I got my physical media. I collect things that. Well, I start collecting things and then I can't afford them anymore, so I quit. I got five or six guitars, and I started a sword collection a long time ago and got two in and couldn't afford it no more. Just
Yeah.
I'm a weird duck.
No, I mean, there are things that I'd love to add to my collection, but I don't have the room for it anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
either sell what I have or, gosh,
make room.
just don't buy anything.
Yeah, stop buying. Either stop buying or make room. That's all you can do. Be like Az and grab you a storage locker or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which by that point, what's the use? You can't look at it. It's in storage. What good is it doing you?
It's not doing you any good.
No, because the whole point of buying pretty things to look at, to put up, is just so you can look at it and other people can look at it. Buying that stuff and putting it in the storage bin is just a waste.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand how, I know they're addicted to that, but he also, does his streams with it. So it's not like a total waste. He does keep his parts of his YouTube channel going with it. So
Yeah, he does.
So that's good. At least he got that.
Yeah, I mean, if I could show everybody everything that I have in my collection, I would, but that would take up the whole stream.
Yeah. Just pick and choose.
Mm-hmm. That's what I had to do in the first one. I don't want it to be all about me in the first one. I don't want it to be all about me in the second one coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, I want people to have their moment to talk about what they have or showcase what they have for those who want to be on camera.
Yeah. That's good. And I hope it goes good. But if I'm not there, I might stop by if I can, Saturday night. Hot dates and all that.
Yeah, you should see my date book. It's booked up for the next several months.
Oh, see, there you
go. And folks, that's just a very bad joke.
It's all right. All right, I think it's bedtime, boys and girls.
Yeah, yes it is. Yes it is. I just putting in one more link because I want to thank Sam Zoltan for coming on, and I'm going to share his link for anyone who is not subscribed to his channel. And I also want to thank those who stopped by during the stream. Thank you, Input Latency, for stopping by. Really appreciate it. It's always nice to see you. Of course, Anano Mas, thank you, brother.
No problem, man.
I'm glad I'm getting to know you.
Me too. I mean, you. I'm glad getting to know you. Bad joke. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm full of bad jokes, so they're welcome here. Whoopa, on Whoopa Wednesday, it's nice to see you. The Padawannabe, looking forward to Saturday with you, brother. Let's see. Got to scroll up here. Of course, Zan Zoltan. Thanks for coming on. It's always a joy to have you on. And Matt from Channel 66. It's great to see you, brother. Looking forward to Saturday as well. And GMC, also known as Games, Movies, and Comics R Us. Always nice to see you, brother. Always like to help support your channel, and it's always nice to see you come here. Of course, the Norporeal Life Form, the Admiral, who is currently talking with Baron Ormontag on Baron After Dark. And scrolling up here. Sure I don't miss anybody. Resolute German, it was nice to see you here, brother. David Chen, it was nice to see you here again tonight. And it's nice to see everybody, whether you're watching this live or watching this on the replay. Thank you very much. If you liked what you saw here, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like what you saw here, give it a thumbs down. And share this stream with your friends. And if you want to, subscribe to the PACIFIC414 YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. Until then, remember, I'm not just a baseball guy. I'm an all-around guy. Good night, everyone.
This has been a test of the emergency Hypnotoad system. Had this been an actual hypnosis, you would go limp and watch whatever crap comes on next.